His body is reeling after taking a massive punch. He can handle the pain and asks if he finally hit subtle mastery. He just shrugs and says he got there 2 days ago. In this world, martial arts stages rank from beginner to proficient. Then subtle mastery, great achievement, and finally, total perfect completion. His friend is for no one touches his skill when using the Fiery Fist, also known as the legendary Diamond Fist. Suhong asks if he is rested up because they have got to keep training hard. It'll cause him a total training maniac since the guy literally cannot sit still. He says his goodbyes, but the teacher spots him and says he finally found the main guy. He needs to know about the martial arts course registration and why that 30,000 fee hasn't been paid yet. Suhong asks if he can just have a few more days, but the teacher says no, even though his family is struggling. Rules are rules and he cannot wait. Our hero keeps training, but he cannot stop thinking about that 30,000 fee. He remembers his parents dying in a beast disaster when he was only 3. Since then, he has lived with his aunt and uncle. Once they saw his martial arts talent, they did everything they could to help him. In an area filled with wild beasts, being a warrior is a high-paying profession. He knows he is training as hard as possible to give them a better life. But right now, he is just making things more difficult. Later, he heads home, but before opening the door, he overhears his aunt and uncle talking about the rent. They want to delay the payment just a bit longer to help cover Suhong's registration fee. His aunt suggests typing her own meds since her illness is incurable, but her husband refuses. He will get another job, she just needs to rest and try to get healthy. Hearing this makes him feel absolutely terrible. He slaps his own face hard. He opens the door and announces he is home. His aunt asks if he is exhausted since it is so late, then tells him to rest while she gets dinner ready. Suhong heads straight to his room. He knows his family has done enough. He needs to solve this himself. For a martial artist to earn tens of thousands in days, there is really only one place to go. Next day, he makes his way to the underground fighting arena. The announcer shouts that the Minotaur will be defending the arena today. If he wins 4 consecutive fights, he will get a 60,000 bonus. People are speculating, thinking he's just some new rookie. A woman tells him to help the crowd, but he does not know how. She explains he needs to use insults or provocations, complaining that rookies are such a pain because they do not know the ropes yet. Suhong yells that he is invincible, telling all the chickens in the room to come get some. The crowd thinks he is arrogant and will probably end up dead before he even knows what hit him. Everyone starts chanting for someone to finish the Minotaur off. He realizes this arena has a serious thirst for blood, but he knows it is the only way to get the cash fast. Suddenly, fighter steps into the ring, guaranteeing a win for himself. Suhong instantly sees the guy has strong momentum, but his base is weak. Plus, the guy just charges without thinking. He takes advantage, landing a technique right on the guy's chin and knocking him out of the arena. He yells for the next challenger to step up fast. The announcer cheers loudly for the Minotaur's victory. The crowd roars that it was incredible. Another fighter steps up, warning him his luck is about to run out. Suhong notices this opponent has a very strong physique, perfect for finally testing out his Fiery Fist in battle. The fighter charges and their fists collide, but Suhong spots a gap and counters with his other hand. The guy put too much power into his upper body, leaving his waist completely wide open. That opening was enough to land a solid kick. It sends a guy flying right out of the ring. After winning again, he tells the next fighter to get up here immediately. Meanwhile, watching from the top of the arena, an organizer notes he is not even a crossy warrior yet, but his strength already beats any apprentice. He is not too strong or too weak, honestly. He is perfect for armed combat. His subordinate asks to go fight, but the boss warns him not to reveal he has already been promoted to warrior. Back in the arena, Suhong realizes that with his Fiery Fist at micro level, dealing with mere apprentices isn't difficult at all. If he wins just one more time, he will land that 60,000 bonus. Suddenly the crowd yells that it's going to be White Fox. Everyone's asking if he's really a crossy warrior or if this is just cheating. Suhong starts worrying. This will be tough, but he absolutely cannot lose here. White Fox smirks and tells him not to worry, he'll go easy on him. The final match is announced and both fighters immediately launch into the attack. Suhong knows his level is lower, so he has to bet everything on his first strike. Their fists collide with power. During the clash, he realizes this guy isn't a crossy warrior, he's way stronger. He's worried now. His opponent is a true warrior and was hiding his killing intent. Fox unleashes some energy and lands a direct hit with his Thunder Fist technique. The strike manages to seriously injure our main character. The crowd knows that blast was the Thunder Fist. This fight is definitely over now. While Fox keeps up the frantic assault while Suhong defends at all costs. Another direct hit means it's game over. He desperately needs to find a window to counterattack, but one of those strikes breaks right through his guard. It slams directly into his face, sent flying across the arena. He realizes things are bad as his vision starts to fade. Fox pins his head down with a foot, mocking him that he won't see a cent of the prize money. But then he says his master wants him to join them, promising a big future in armed combat. He warns him to think hard, because the cost of saying no is something he can't afford. Suhong asks if they even consider themselves warriors after pulling stunts like this. The guy takes that as a hard no. He vows to crush the kid's dreams once and for all. But before the kick lands, Suhong feels an intense pressure building up inside his body. This allows him to dodge the attack. Standing up and unleashing his aura, he declares he'll become a warrior and won't go down here. While Fox can't believe he's standing after taking a direct hit from that Thunder Fist. Suhong focuses on his goal. He'll be a warrior and won't let his uncle's sacrifices go to waste. A future like the one they offered is totally unacceptable. A system prompt appears, asking what limits he's willing to push for the sake of his family and beliefs. He says he'll give everything as an incredible power begins surging out of his body. Suddenly, Suhong feels like he's been transported somewhere else. To make matters worse, a massive monster is standing right in front of him. This being says it will grant him a chance, and sends an order toward Suhong. It materializes into a system screen showing his name, stats, and an active mission. He's curious because the whole thing looks just like a touch screen. He decides to click the missions tab labeled Path of the Arena. He needs to level up his Diamond Fist and train his Floating Light Palm in the first step to subtle mastery. He's intrigued, realizing this is actually a guide for beginners. Suddenly, Fast Punch comes flying at him. He dodges it in total shock. He realizes it's a clone of himself using a Fire Fist that's even more perfect than what's in the textbooks. Not wanting to waste this chance to improve, he moves in for a counterattack. But the clone catches his arm. It moves again, making him realize this opponent is actually showing him how it's done. He takes the hit, and stumbles back from the impact. Looking at his system, Suhong notices that his progress is already at 10%. He sees a perfect chance to level up his techniques fast, so he charges straight into the fight. The two start trading blows like crazy. His fists and empty step keep leveling up as the fight drags on. His skills just keep climbing. Finally, he hits 100% mastery with his Floating Light Palm. The empty step too, plus the Diamond Fist. A massive wave of energy starts overflowing through his entire body. The system congratulates him for completing the mission. His rewards are already waiting. All he has to do is accept. Once he accepts, an incredible aura begins to surge through his real-world body. The white fox charges into attack because her target is acting totally mysterious. She tries landing a Thunder Fist but misses every strike. Suhong thinks she is way too slow and throws a punch powerful enough to shatter her mask. It leaves the guy unconscious on the ground. The crowd literally can't believe what they just witnessed. Our main character just asks for his winner bonus since he took the fourth fight. The announcer says yes and congratulates the Minotaur for defending the arena. Watching this, the businessman can't grasp how mere apprentice reach maximum mastery with the Vira Fist. He orders his henchmen to find out the fighter's real identity. After that, Suhong heads out, but he realizes he's being followed. So he kicks it into high gear. The two guards have no clue how he vanished, but they have to find his identity at any cost. Suhong is actually hanging from the very top of the wall. An hour later, he finally makes it back to his house. His uncle sees a huge pile of money and freak out, asking if he robbed a bank. He says no, he just got sponsored for being a pro fighter. He just asks them to believe him. They're amazed their nephew wouldn't lie to them, and they're sure he has a massive future ahead. Later that night, our main character heads up to the rooftop. He thinks about how the registration fee is covered and the rent is finally paid off. He's grateful the system helped him escape danger, but he hasn't seen any attribute changes yet. Though he did notice some new martial points were added to his profile, he put some points into vitality to see what happens. Suddenly, an incredible aura starts overflowing from his body. He realizes he's almost at the level of a warrior. Because of that, he dumps all his remaining points straight into the vitality stat. After doing that, his physique visibly grows and all of his wounds are instantly healed up. To test his limits, he starts jumping house to house with incredible vigor. He decides to head to the school's training field for the combat parameter. Once there, he walks up to the device and focuses energy into his fist. When he feels he has enough, he throws a precise punch at the machine. However, he starts breaking a cold sweat. The machine couldn't even handle his punch, and now he's worried he'll have to pay for the broken equipment. To make it worse, someone yells about hearing a noise. Suhong runs away like an absolute madman. An old man walks to the machine and can't believe someone actually smashed the school's parameter. He starts shouting, promising to teach a lesson to whoever did this as soon as classes start. The next day, students are all gathered in the gym of the first high school of Xinqiang. Standing at the back of the line, our hero wonders why Chen Shan was beaten up. A classmate whispers that they found out Chen Shan broke the training meter. Since he didn't admit it, the principal punished him. Suhong feels cold knowing who took the fall. The old man tells everyone to be quiet. He introduces his comrade, a grade 3 warrior named Chen Tian, who is going to teach them the rank C Thunder Fist. The class goes wild. It's their first time seeing a grade 3 warrior, and that martial art costs hundreds of thousands at a dojo. Our MC remembers this technique from his fight with the White Fox. It really was a powerful punch. He knows learning this move would cost a fortune, so he really needs to take advantage of this chance. Chen Tian warns he'll demonstrate it 10 times from start to finish. How much they actually learn is totally up to them. Getting ready, he fires off a quick shadowboxing punch to demonstrate. At the proficient level you get 3 thunderclaps, but hitting the micro level produces 5 of them. He wraps up the demo by showing exactly how strong he is right now. He explains that reaching perfection means producing 9 thunderclaps. But they shouldn't be too ambitious since beginners should be happy with any progress they make. The students start grinding, but hours later they are totally wiped out with 0 progress. Lu Ming's exhausted and can't figure out how anyone learns ranks in martial arts since they are so tough. He turns to ask Suhong if he figured it out, but finds it weird that he's already gone. Meanwhile, Chen Shan actually reached the beginner level. The boy wonders how his brain even works. The guy's a total genius. The principal calls the kid the school's #1 genius and asks if there's interest in mentoring him. The warrior just laughs because that level is made in any other city. The two head outside. Chen Tian admits the class was a total waste of time because they're so weak. The principal disagrees, saying they're just beginners, but the man wants a real prodigy. They keep talking while taking a stroll around the campus. Suddenly, they both freeze. They spot the MC practically vibrating with incredible lightning energy. The warrior yells that it's the 7th thunderclap Thunder Fist. He never expected to find a specialist that skilled here. The principal says no way, since he's never heard of a pro in town. Plus the kid is wearing a student uniform. The warrior is stunned because he only taught for half a day and a student is already at mastery level. The principal starts panicking because if his ears aren't lying, he just heard 9 distinct thunderclaps. Chen Tian gets hyped because everything finally clicked for him. He starts gathering energy in his fist. He fires off the skill again, managing to hit it thunderclaps thanks to the MC's inspiration. The two of them both toward the scene, desperate to find out who that student was. But by the time they get close, they realize he's already vanished. Way across campus, the MC sighs, thinking that training ranks in martial art is way more draining than he thought. He checks his system and sees his Thunder Fist hit perfection. Now he needs martial points to hit warrior level soon, but he's not sure if normal duels will cut it or if he needs a real life or death fight. A little while later, he walks into his job at the Furious Thunder Dojo. Inside, several fighters are training hard. One asks why the MC showed up and he just says he was bored and wanted to practice. Suddenly, one guy gets totally red and claims everyone there is literal trash, even blaming their master for being a bad teacher. Suhong asks what the deal is, and the boy explains that the guy's teacher is strong but hates commoners, so he doesn't really try when he's teaching. Plus, the guy's top student, the one with the purple hair, is also a total powerhouse. Leon wins up for the final punch, but the MC appears and grabs his arm. He tells him to quit picking on people. The guy gets mad and challenges him to a fight in the ring, which he accepts. Before they can square off, the teacher walks in and tells everyone it's time to start the class. The purple-haired guy knows that the MC just got lucky, but the MC is just annoyed by how arrogant the guy is. Wu Shan warns that today is the last day for the Furious Six pair, and he's only showing it one time. He gets into position. He's already decided he's only doing this once, since he does a bunch of losers could ever actually learn it. The MC watches him intently. He knows he has to nail it on the very first try. Once the teacher finishes the demonstration, he walks off, telling them they're on their own if they want to learn the rest. The students are fuming because showing it once is impossible to follow. Suhong thinks to himself that the core of the technique actually isn't that complex. After getting himself ready, he makes one sharp, precise move. He starts practicing right there, and everyone is stunned because they had no idea their academy had such a massive prodigy. Leon walks back inside, asking what all the noise is about and if anyone actually managed to learn the move. Then he spots the MC pulling off the movements perfectly. He's shocked and decides he needs to test the guy's skill. If he's a real genius, things are about to get interesting. He steps into the ring, claiming he's just going to give out a few pointers. He gets into position to demonstrate. A kid reminds him the guy is arrogant but crazy strong. Suhong just tells him not to worry about it. He squares up to wanting to see this power with his own two eyes. Leon lunges forward, triggering his Furious Six pair at the subtle mastery level. But Suhong takes one deep breath and reacts. He fires back with the same technique, but at the maximum level. Leon is stunned. How could a total beginner already have proficient level skills like that? Suhong strikes back hard. Both of their attacks collide instantly. Leon is losing it. How did someone who is not even a warrior master this so fast? Suhong spots a massive opening. He knocks the spear right out of Leon's shaking hands. The system pings. He just earned 35 martial points for taking down a higher level fighter. It clicks regular duels award points too. Now he knows exactly how he is going to farm for points in the future. Leon drops to his knees. He thinks this is impossible. Nobody masters the Furious Six pair proficiently that fast. He starts questioning everything. Were his years of intense training just a complete waste of time? Still raging, he stands back up to lash out because he feels like a total loser. But before he can touch Suhong, the teacher appears and yells for him to stop. The teacher slaps him, seeing if he cannot handle losing, he is no warrior. He reflects on how Suhong mastered the technique just by watching it once. Not even the top-tier geniuses in the capital or the Magic City have that kind of talent. It is honestly just way too exaggerated for a kid his age. He knows Leon is arrogant, so this loss was actually good for him. He turns and apologizes to Suhong for the lack of discipline. Suhong thinks it is weird how fast the teacher flipped his whole attitude. Once it is over, he heads out, feeling completely drained. At least he bagged some martial points and learned both the Thunder Fist and the Furious Six pair. He remembers the school exam is coming up. The rich kids already have high-quality ally weapons, so he needs to find a way to get one for himself as fast as possible. Since the spear felt natural, he decides he needs to buy an ally spear. But he is broke. He cannot even pay for his aunt's medical treatment, let alone buy a high-tech ally weapon. He wonders what other ways exist to earn some money. Then he hears the news. Ferocious beasts are everywhere, and the Lord is calling for warriors to hunt them for a huge reward. This looks like a perfect opportunity for him. Meanwhile, back at his house, Chenwei tells her husband to take it easy since Suhong gave them money. He knows, but he refuses to put the whole family burden on the boy's shoulders. He needs to save up as much as he can while he still has the chance. Right then, Suhong walks through the door. He tells his aunt to let him handle the work. He tells Muriam to stop working outside. He is making money now, so Muriam should just stay home and help his aunt. The man just smiles. He says he is only earning a few coins for the daily expenses and is not overworking himself at all. Chenwei says Suhong will need training money later, so they are saving up. Suhong realizes they won't retire until he makes enough money to last them for the rest of their lives. That is just how they are. He cannot pass this up. He is determined to hunt those ferocious beasts and claim the big reward. Knowing the wilderness is dangerous, he dumps all of his martial points into his vitality step for safety. He is at 95 points, just one step from warrior level. 2 days later at the school gym, he is totally exhausted from pushing himself to get every single one of his techniques to the perfect rank. Now everything is finally ready for him to head out of the city. He makes his way to the Xinjiang warrior base. It is his first time here. He had only ever seen a place like this on television before. Warriors are everywhere. These people are usually rare. But this place is absolutely growing with them. And rank beasts are 300 coins. Initial levels are 1000. Medium are 3000. High levels are 5000. The list goes on and on. His biggest shock is having to slice off the monster's left ear as proof. No ear means no credit. It feels so primitive to him. A guy approaches the counter to see what his haul is worth. Suhong figures that bag is stuffed with ears from ferocious beasts. Right then, another crew rolls in, barking at everyone to clear the path. One of them shouts that the young master has finally made his entrance. Suhong is instantly curious. Between the clothes and that bald head, the guy looks exactly like the white fox from the underground arena. People are whispering that the young master got thrashed a few days ago and went into hiding, so no one will see him. A hero eyes the group, and the young master stares right back. Suhong realizes it is not just the beasts he needs to worry about. Humans are just as dangerous, so he has to stay sharp. At the gate, the instructor asks if a kid like him is actually heading out all by himself. He lets him through. So arrogant. Fearless brats are a dime a dozen these days. Suhong finally makes it to the woods. He says with total confidence that he will return with a bag full of monster ears. Tarzan, still wandering the woods, he is starting to worry since there are no beasts in sight. Did someone already kill them all? So he decides to head even deeper into the wild. But the second he starts to run, he runs straight into a massive wolf. He recognizes it as a black moon wolf, a low-level ferocious beast. Suddenly, lets out a roar. It charges him, but he manages to dodge the initial strike. He begins gathering energy in his hand, and strikes with the thunder fist. The impact sends the wolf flying violently into a nearby tree. It hits so hard it falls to the ground, dead. He finally knows what it feels like to fight a monster, and it is way more exciting than he thought. He realizes he can easily one-shot a level 1 beast in the initial stage. He is just not sure how he would hold up against one in the middle stage. Right as he says that, a massive, furious bear looms up behind him, but he drops it with a single punch. Now he knows level 1 monsters are zero trouble, but he still should not mess with those level 2 ones. He takes the ears, knowing he has already guaranteed himself a 3000 point bonus. Suddenly, the system notifies him that he has enough points to finally rank up to warrior status. It tells him to level up immediately, and he is absolutely thrilled to finally be moving up. Until he feels this insane pressure, he wonders what the presence could be, because the beast feels like it is on a completely different level. He runs over to see what it is, until he finally reaches the spot, and gets totally startled. It is a black jade python, a level 1 beast in its final stage of growth. The monster strikes out at the warriors gathered in the area, slamming them hard against the rocks. Then it turns on Suhong because he was standing too close. Luckily, he manages to dodge the strike, but the snake moves way too fast. It whips its tail around, sending him flying through the air. He lands near a body, grabs the spear lying on the ground, and stands his ground against the serpent. The monster wastes zero time and lunges at him. He dodges, thinking that taking down a monster this strong usually takes several high-level warriors working together as a team. Even with his techniques mastered to perfection and his ability to one-shot a black bear, he knows this massive serpent represents a completely different story. Then, he leaps up onto a tree. He hits an air step to get high. Then he lets the furious spear fly, stabbing the monster right in the gut. He bows to grab his spear. After that, he charges up his energy again. He hurls it back at the beast. It pierces the creature's body again. He just keeps doing it. He knows the size gap is massive. It is impossible to kill it with a single blow, so he's focused on weakening the monster first. He almost gets smoked by another attack, but he counters with a thunder fist. Then he bails immediately because that is his strategy. He's gotta find another opening to strike and then get out. But he never thought it would be this draining. Plus, the snake is hitting its limit too. He has to take advantage of that right now. But then he senses something approaching, and when he turns around, he sees a warrior charging right at him. Surprised, he barely manages to block the strike. But he gets launched pretty far. Our hero gets up and asks who they are. The young master notes they've met again and asks if he'll hand over the serpent as a little gift. The bad guy says he was sure he'd die first when he saw him leaving the city alone. He didn't expect such insane luck. Not only is he still alive, but he managed to find a wounded black jade serpent. He gets it now. This group just showed up to steal his kill. He's worried because they have the numbers and he just can't take them head on. While he's thinking, the big guy launches another attack. But our hero is getting annoyed now. He asks if they really think he's done just because they caught him with a surprise attack. Their fists collide, and the guy can't believe the terrifying strength he's feeling. Plus, he takes a direct punch straight to the face. That strike knocks him out cold on the ground. The young master admits the viral fist surprised him, and realizes this kid must be the Minotaur. Suhong realizes he is the white fox from the arena. He has never been so humiliated in public before. So he orders his goose to kill the bear at this second. He grabs his spear and starts bolting away. But the whole gang chases him deep into the forest. The swordsman warns that they have the numbers, so they shouldn't be afraid of just one guy. Until Suhong suddenly appears behind him. He delivers a powerful spear strike that knocks the guy out cold instantly. The white fox gets worried because he really has no idea how anyone could be this fast. Terrified, they form a defensive wall. They hear the ninth thunderclap fist, something even a level 3 warrior couldn't pull off perfectly. The young master starts sweating. He has no clue how Kid has mastered both the perfect viral fist and the thunder fist. He watches from a distance. If he hadn't just fought that giant python, he would have easily crushed all of them in an instant. He throws his spear to create an opening to pick them off. It lands right next to them. Using the distraction, Suhong closes in on one of the guys, and he delivers a knee strike so powerful, it puts another guy to sleep. The last one begs to leave because their opponent is too strong. But the young master just refuses to run away right now. Our hero blurs, sprinting from tree to tree at insane speeds, until he reaches the spearman, and drops him cold with a single, massive strike. White Fox can wrap his head around how a mere break got this powerful in days. He keeps ghosting behind him, doing everything he can to distract the guy. And after prepping his attack, the bad guy locks onto his target, and readying his move the devastating White Finger. That attack was sheer power. It shatters a tree as he swings wildly in every direction, praying a lucky strike lands on something. Suhong watches. Tanya. That immense power has to be at least a rank B technique. The guy screams that he knows his face. And if he gets hurt, he's coming back to wipe out the MC's entire family. Hearing that makes him absolutely furious. He speeds up while White Fox starts yapping about his uncle being a supervisor at the base. But before he finishes the sentence, our hero appears, and channeling every bit of energy into his fist, he lands a punch square on the bird's mouth, sending him flying back like a cannonball. He isn't done yet, making it clear that threatening someone's family is a mistake you only make once. A broken White Fox struggles to understand how he's this strong when he clearly isn't even a warrior yet. As he's talking, the black serpent looms directly behind him, and finishes him off with one quick strike. The MC realizes the fight dragged on, giving the monster enough time to recover its energy. The White Fox squad finally wakes up to find the MC insanely strong, with no clue where their master went, until they happen to look to the side, and spot Suhong sprinting straight toward them. But he yells at them to get out of the way as the black serpent lunges. He dodges the snap, but the snake devours another warrior whole. Because of that, the system notifies him of an indirect kill, awarding him 30 points. Same for the swordsman. The monster kills him too, and another notification pops up for 30 points. He's shocked since he didn't know you could farm points like that. The snake calls up to strike him, but he takes to the sky with air steps. He has enough points to become a warrior now. If only he could find a safe place to level up. Right as he thinks that, he spots a cave opening just ahead. He decides to bolt straight for the entrance. The monster slams into the rock, unable to fit through the narrow opening. Safe inside, he sees the snake trying to force its way in, so he quickly pulls up his system and starts dumping his martial punch as fast as he can. His energy levels skyrocket. It feels like molten lava is pumping through his veins instead of blood. His punch finally hit 100, and just like that, he advances to warrior level 1. Intense power overflows from his body. Now that he is a real warrior, he looks at the snake. It is time for a counterattack. He channels energy into his fist. He lands a perfect blow that tosses the monster aside like a toy. He doesn't stop, rushing straight toward its head. The monster tries one last attack, but he grips his spear firmly and hurls it deep into the monster's body. Charging up his thunder fist, he smashes the serpent's head. It slams hard against the dirt. The dust cloud finally clears. He stands over it, netting 92 points for the kill. He thinks back, hunting these beasts usually means cutting off a left ear for the reward money. But looking at the snake, he is stumped. It does not have any ears. What is a hunter supposed to do with a snake? With no better plan, he walks away. But while heading back, he finds the young master's body. Honestly, the guy got off easy after everything he's ready to do. He decides to loot the body for anything useful and scores big. He finds a manual for a technique called Void Piercing Finger. Not a bad help for this work in the wild. Once night falls, he heads back to the cave and stones up the entrance. He starts focusing. He has already memorized the basic steps for the Void Piercing Finger. But now he needs the system to help him fully master it. In his mind, a clone appears through the system's interface to begin training. The clone lunges with the new technique, but he manages to dodge. He keeps training to sharpen the skill, adding 97% progress. But just as he learns it, the power hits his head like a ton of bricks. The control resets. He is still at 1% at the beginner level. No wonder it is a rank B technique. Even at the beginner level, the pressure is insane. Now he just needs to find a monster out here to actually test his new power on. 3 days later, he spots a bear. He fires off his new technique and it drops the beast instantly. He finally hits a perfect level. He expected nothing less from a rank B skill, and now it is time to go. Back at the warrior base, the Thunder team is stunning everyone. They managed to bring back 230 kills from their big hunt. But the spotlight shifts fast when our main character shows up and grabs everyone's attention. The buyer yells out the count: 70 to level 1 beasts at initial stage, 83 at middle, and 17 at high stage. That is 406,000 booster coins. The crew just stands there, totally speechless at the news. He starts sweating because he clearly overdid it. He did not mean to go this viral. Suddenly, a massive explosion rocks the central base out of nowhere. Everyone is panicking, wondering how an attack is even possible in a place growing with high-level warriors. The guy behind the blast is Yaki, the young master's uncle. He screams for his men to lock down the base. Not even a fly is getting out of here. People are asking what went wrong. He yells that his nephew and his 4 bodyguards were all taken out. Nobody can wrap their heads around it. A whole squad of 5 powerful fighters wiped out just like that. Some people are low-key celebrating. Everyone knew Feng was a jerk who robbed people just because his uncle was the supervisor. Then she drops the bomb rank B technique. The master head is missing. Now every single warrior has to be searched. They're ready to take out any suspects on the spot. Suhong thinks he is safe. They surely saw the bodies and figured that the black snake killed them. There is no way it leads back to him, right? But then the supervisor looks right at him and he cannot believe his luck. The squad heads straight for him. The supervisor mentions the rumors. A solo keep bringing in 400,000 words of beasts is a big deal. That kind of talent is pretty rare. The secretary scoffs. This kid is barely level 1 initial stage. There is no way he killed all those monsters. He must have swiped the young master's backpack. The guards close in, telling him not to resist unless he wants things to get real ugly real fast. Right as the words leave his mouth, the sharp tip of a spear flashes in their faces. They are stunned. Nobody even saw him move. The speed at which he drew that spear was just too fast to follow. He tells them he is a student at Xinchun First High. He stares them down, asking if they really want to go through with this search. He knows their director is famous for being overprotective of his students. Messing with this kid might be a huge mistake they cannot afford. Still, the suspicion is eating at them. Plus, If the kid actually handled those beasts alone, he is a literal genius. Offending a future powerhouse like that would be a total disaster for the family's reputation and their future. The supervisor steps up and explains that a secret family technique was stolen from his nephews. But he asks for cooperation. Suhong just tells them he hopes they do not plan on framing an innocent person today. The man offers 10,000 coins as an apology for having to search through his things. The main character holds out for 30,000. He knows the giant python did the actual killing, and as long as they do not find that book, they have got nothing on him. Yagi agrees to the new price. The guards start tossing his gear and checking through his backpack. They find absolutely nothing. The supervisor tells them to hand over the 30,000 coins he promised. Suhong finally breathes. He was smart enough to ditch the book after he memorized it. Otherwise, he would be in some serious trouble right now. All he wants is a hot shower and some fresh clothes. After that, he is heading straight for the Warrior Association's evaluation registration. He needs to get his hands on the guidance technique as soon as humanly possible to keep moving forward. Back at the warrior basin, he checks his stash and finds 534 martial points. He had been so obsessed with mastering the fire-piercing finger lately that he completely forgot to spend them even though all his other skills are already maxed out. He knows every warrior state needs a set amount of blood energy. If he dumps all his current martial points in, his energy will hit 53. That still leaves him 40 points short of reaching the middle stage, which is kind of a bummer. Plus, he has not even touched his spirit or mortal body stats yet. Honestly, he is not even sure what those attributes actually do for him. He starts by pumping points into his spirit attribute, but even after a big jump he feels nothing. On the flip side, boosting his mortal body shows instant results, so he adds even more. Now his energy is at 123, spirit is 26, and mortal body is 36. With his leftovers, he drops 200 points into blood energy and the rest into spirit. After that massive investment, he feels an invincible coursing through his veins. It is like having a colossal, infinite well of energy inside. Slowly, his body finally starts to recover. He is so relieved to be back to normal. If he had started looking like some giant roped-up bodybuilder, explaining that transformation to everyone else would have been a total nightmare. An hour later, he tells the clerk at the Warrior Association he is there for the evaluation. She says an employee will help him. Then asks if it is his first time since he looks so young. She mentions that level 1 warriors need 100 blood energy and over 1000 combat strength to pass. She wishes him luck, while people nearby whisper that he is a masterless kid just wasting his time trying to pull this off. He walks in just as they announce Frangia had 102 energy but only 992 strength, meaning he failed. Next is Liming. He hits 105 energy and passes. For the strength test, he squares up and throws a punch with everything he has got. He hits 1763 punches and passes the test. Everyone gossips that they expected this from Xiangming's student. Those guys at the Furious Thunder Dojo are always on another level with talent. The MC realizes this Xiangming guy is the same teacher he knew as Mushan. He thought his only student was that girl Lion, but it looks like he has got a whole crew. The boy announces that it is finally the MC's turn. He figures he must be some kind of genius for testing at his age. Seeing another kid doing the same thing just feels ridiculous to him. But he panics when he hears people shouting that the energy meter must be broken. That is because the MC scored 123, way higher than the rest. Liming tries to stay cool since blood energy is not everything, combat strength is what counts. The MC steps up for the test. He is thinking about his recent level ups and improved physique. He figures 40% power should do it. But he is worried that holding back too much might make him miss the minimum score. Just to play it safe, he decides to go with 50% of his strength. But when he lands the hit, the machine flies across the room and smashes into the wall until it literally explodes. Liming is stunned. He cannot believe the kid sent the meter flying. The power is terrifying, especially since he did not even use a technique. To make it crazier, the score was 3004. Considering a top-tier level 1 warrior only hits 3000. That number is absolutely insane for someone just starting out. An employee tells his master it is the same boy from before and that his raw power is just off the charts. The man realizes it is the Minotaur. He's not even shocked after what he saw the kid do before. Somewhere else, LinkedIn, the president of the association, is fuming. She heard a genius appeared in the next city over and everyone is breaking. If her city does not start producing some heavy hitters soon, it is going to be a problem. Suddenly, an employee rushes in yelling about a monster at the warrior evaluation. She is totally caught off guard by the news. The guy explains that a level 1 warrior just launched the machine with a single punch and scored 3,000 points. Meanwhile, back in the main hall of the Martial Arts Association, an employee tells the MC they are going to the second floor to register his identity and grab his allowance. The MC thanks him for the help. Suddenly, someone interrupts, saying that it's not necessary. She is going to handle the registration personally. The employee is floored. He cannot believe the actual president is taking over the next steps of the process. She introduces herself as Suhong and asks the bond to follow her. He agrees, thinking about how she is a level 5 warrior and the big boss around here. She definitely looks different in person than he expected. They head straight to her office. She asks if he's from the first high school. The principal was complaining that they only had 2 basic level 1 warriors this year. But it turns out they were hiding a total monster. The MC isn't sure what to say. He just asks why he's there, since he only wants his warrior card, his allowance, and the guidance technique. The president tells him not to sweat it. She already pulled some strings to get his card and monthly cash processed right away. Regarding the guidance technique, she takes over the lesson herself. She asks him exactly how much he already knows about how it works. He says books claim the world as spiritual energy is split into different attributes. The guidance technique is the method for absorbing that energy to get stronger. To pro in different types, you need a specific matching technique for each one. Lingxin tells him the book is not wrong, but it is way more than just a training method. She uses her own celestial flame technique as an example, which focuses on fire energy. Besides making her body stronger, it lets her attacks carry the literal destructive power of that specific element. Also, if you can project that elemental energy outward, your attack range goes up. If a level 1 warrior can even coat their fist in a little bit of that attribute, they're doing great. He is shocked that these techniques work for attacking too. He thought it was just for absorbing energy since the books never mentioned anything about the combat side. She explains that spiritual energy has 7 attributes: metal, wood, water, fire, thunder, and wind. For raw power, thunder is number 1, metal is second, and fire takes 3rd place. But the specific guidance technique he can master depends entirely on his affinity. Suhong gets it. He knows he can just pick any random training style he wants to learn. She puts out a crystal sphere for testing affinity. The more it glows, the higher the score. Most warriors hit 20 to 30%. She is at 80%, which is basically elite level. She figures a real genius could easily hit 90% or higher. He grabs the crystal, thinking the president is a total beast for hitting level 5 so young. If a genius like her only got 80%, hitting 90 seems almost impossible. Suddenly, the crystal starts glowing like crazy. It scares both of them as the light surges, filling the entire room with a blinding white flash. She is in total shock. He actually has 100% affinity with the fire attribute. She asks if he knows what that means. He doesn't, so she explains he can absorb 100% of the fire energy around him, without wasting a single trace of it. Using herself as an example, she explains that at 80% affinity, she loses some energy while absorbing it. Even so, she still became a level 5 warrior and association president. She points out his potential will dwarf hers. She never imagined this city would produce such a monster, one that could rival the geniuses of the imperial capital or magic city. He thinks it is cool because fire is decent, but he would actually prefer the thunder attribute. Having the power will be way more useful in his opinion. The second he thinks it, the sphere starts crackling with intense, surging electricity. It fills up completely. He casually mentions that if he is reading this right, his affinity with thunder is also 100%. She's totally speechless. A double affinity for fire and thunder at 100%. That is not just a genius, that is a monster. Then he reveals he's also at 100% for winning, but she simply refuses to accept it. It is too ridiculous. A few minutes later, she collapses onto the sofa. She is just trying to process everything. Seeing someone had 100% in every attribute feels impossible. She is convinced this has to be a dream. She remembers people calling her a top-tier genius. Level 5 warriors at H30 are incredibly rare. But facing someone who defies all logic makes her realize she is just an ordinary person. Now she understands to beat someone who breaks the rules of reality, you need an equally extraordinary force. And she believes she has finally found that exact person. Meanwhile, he's thinking about his 100% affinity across all 7 attributes. Focusing only on Thunder while ditching the other 6 would be a total waste. So, he asks the president if she can give him the guidance techniques for all 7 attributes. Right now, she explains that energy is limited, no matter how great the talent. Focusing on 1 or 2 types is much better. People in the past tried training 7 techniques at once, and after decades, they were still stuck at grade 1. It is a mistake he should avoid. He says he gets it, but he only asked because he can't decide yet. He wants to test each one before picking his main path. She agrees it's fine, but warns him not to be foolish and throw away his talent for nothing. Then she mentions his school monthly exam is coming up. He says yeah, but wonders why she's suddenly so interested in his grades. The president says the conflict in the battlefield of the heavens is heating up. A massive war between humanity and the other races could explode at any time. Countries are investing in new geniuses, and she wants to personally recommend him for a spot. If he can take first place in his school monthly exam, she can offer him that recommendation. He takes a moment to think it over. He remembers the war 10 years ago. He was just a kid and lost everyone except his uncles. Determined, he tells her he will give it his all. He is determined to never let the tragedy happen to his uncles. He will become strong enough to protect his family, no matter what it takes. Later that night at home, he tells his uncles he's officially a warrior. They get emotional. They expect nothing less from their nephew. Suhong explains he will get a 10,000 monthly allowance, so his uncle doesn't have to work so hard anymore. The old man laughs, saying the boy is the main parent now, so he'll just do whatever he wants. All Suhong wants is to see them living in peace. From now on, he is the one supporting the entire family. Later that night, he keeps focusing energy. After building up enough energy, he tests out a strike, but soon powers down. It feels like a total beginner technique. He doesn't get why he feels no power even while using the guidance technique. He checks the system and sees a new guidance technique tab. Since it just appeared, he must have officially learned it. He notices Celestial Flame is only at 5% of level 1. He didn't know this could level up. The president never mentioned it. He is sure if levels were a thing, she definitely would have said something. He realizes this means only he can level up his abilities. Nobody else has this power, and he thinks that is absolutely incredible. He tries to figure out how to level up the technique. He wonders if it uses martial punch just like his other skills. But the system says he's low on martial punch. He figures it is better to train his other techniques first, then find a new way to grind for more punch later. He keeps training. Several hours later, he finally unlocks level 1 for the Thunder or the Earth and Wind guidance swords. He feels all 7 types of spiritual energy pushing back against each other. No wonder the president said that old genius who tried this was still stuck as a grade 1 warrior. Even after decades of hard training, even though all 7 energies are inside him, he realizes he can only actually use 1 attribute at a time. If he forces a second attribute, they'll just repel each other and vanish. But fire and thunder are so similar, he can't help but wonder if they could actually be fused together. The energy starts spiraling out of control when he tries this. Still, he keeps pushing it on. The very next day, he decides to take things just 1 step further. He tries everything to fuse these parts until he finally pulls it off. He feels a wave of relief after grinding through the whole night. Now his next move is finding a spot to test his strength. Suhong heads to the Xincheng Martial Combat Plaza for another test. This time, he chooses a level 3 strength meter so he doesn't accidentally smash it. He strikes using Thunder-powered 30% capacity. Last time, using 50%, he scored 3,000 punches, so he's being careful. The results just passed 2,300. It should have been around 1800, meaning it jumped by 500 points. Now it's time for a different kind of test. He wants to see what happens when he fuses thunder with fire. He punches the testing machine once again. The result FLS past 3000. He stands between his raw strength and the fire thunder fusion at 30%. He's already beating the high-stage Grade 1 warrior. Plus, his energy is at 123 points, which is honestly terrifying. This is only 2 elements combined. If he manages to fuse all 7 attributes, the power level would be absolutely off the charts. He heads back home to try fusing 3 attributes together. After grinding for a while, he collapses on the floor because the difficulty of merging 3 elements is on a whole different level. He tried several combinations with his 7 attributes but didn't make any progress at all. He starts wondering if he needs a better guidance technique to succeed with these fusions. Since the monthly exam is tomorrow, his goal is to earn as many martial points as possible. Next morning at school, the students gather as the principal makes an announcement. The monthly exam is changing because of the tension at the front lines. From now on, they will hold an elite training camp every year to find and train the best geniuses. In the city, the camp has insane resources, including secret martial arts, purpose, and grandmasters as instructors. The top 3 students in this monthly exam will earn a spot in the elite training camp organized by Xing-chan. Everyone is hyped for the elite camp. A grandmaster is a level 7, while their own principal is only level 3. The MC thinks it's funny. The president promised him a spot for first place, but now it looks like the top 3 get in anyway. Liu Ming tells the MC that Chen Shan and Li Tu are already level 1 warriors. Many others have mastered the basics of the Thunder Fist, so they don't stand a chance. Suhong is shocked since he was only gone 10 days and this guy's already advanced. His friend explains that the director brought in a veteran named Chen Tian to give private Thunder Fist lessons to the stars. Their energy passed 100 days ago. Now, those 2 can already pull off 3 bursts with the Thunder Fist. The 2 geniuses joke around, saying they'll show everyone what a real master looks like. Chen Tian asks the director if he's found the kid who did 9 bursts with the Thunder Fist. The director says he's searched everywhere without luck and doubts the kid is even a student at their school. Right as he says that, he's startled by a few more people arriving. It's Shang Ming, asking why the old man looks so jumpy. He mentions that this year's students aren't bad at all, which is why he brought his 2 disciples. Once the exam is over, the first place winner gets to duel against them. This just makes everyone irritated. The guy is clearly trying to humiliate them. If the principal refuses, he's admitting the school doesn't have any real talent. Jiang Ming comments that the students look pretty weak, so it's fine if they want to back down. Chen Tian snaps back, asking if he's looking for a fight. Suddenly, Lian warns his master that something is wrong. He tells him to look closer because he's part of the MC among the group. Yu Ming looks over at the group. He's stunned to see Suhong standing right there with the students. He starts breaking out in a cold sweat. He never imagined a monster like that went to this school. This is a disaster. That kid is strong enough to crush his disciples easily, and he'll be the one left looking like a fool. He suddenly changes his tone and tells them not to be mad. He claims he was just joking since his useless disciples could never keep up. Both disciples quickly agree and say they surrender. The director and instructor are furious because the guy's being way too sarcastic. Later in the arena, the MC is called up to duel a champion. His friend thinks it's bad luck to face an almost warrior right away. He tells Suhong not to try too hard since getting hurt isn't worth it. The opponent is ready for battle and tells him to quit, but the MC vanishes with incredible speed. He grabs the guy's head and slams it into the ground, winning instantly. Liu Ming can't believe what he just witnessed. He has no clue when Suhong became strong enough to knock out an almost warrior with just a single blow. He keeps winning every single fight, one after the other. The instructor asks where Suhong came from and why he missed the private lessons. The director admits he messed up by not spotting such a talent sooner. By not paying attention, they almost wasted a true prodigy. Chen Tian feels like he's seen the kid somewhere before but can't place it. Suddenly, the semi-final between Chen Shan and Li Tu is called. The 2 trade massive blows with equal power, making it hard to tell who's winning. Li Tu warns that they're both using the 3-burst Thunder Fist. If he doesn't use his secret weapon, he'll lose. Chen Shan shouts for everyone to watch what a real #1 student can do. The crowd is shocked to see the boy manifest an attribute, even worse. It's fire, which is incredibly powerful and only second to thunder. Li Tu doesn't flinch. He says anyone can manifest an attribute. The crowd is stunned again because Li Tu can also manifest an attribute. It is the metal element, which packs way more combat power than fire. But he is not done yet. The guy decides it is time to reveal his ultimate trump card. Chen Shan freezes in shock. That is the 5 Thunderclap Thunder Fist. And there is nothing he can do except take the hit head on. The director is floored. This kid was hiding his true strength all along. Chen Tian agrees, noting that in just 10 days, he mastered a tribute manifestation and leveled up his Thunder Fist. Han adds that there is no defense against a macro-level metal Thunder Fist. Chen Tian feels bad for the main character. If he knew a guidance technique, he might actually stand a real chance in this fight. Yang Ming overhears and calls his body to place a bet. He puts 50,000 on Suhong winning. The director asks if he is insane since the main character lacks a guidance technique. He takes the bet anyway, thinking it is just easy money. The final round is here. Li Tu tells the main character he was lucky not to face him or Chen Shan, or you're in the bracket. Suhong thinks these students seem weak after his experience hunting fierce beasts, but a real opponent has finally appeared. Li Tu tells him to relax, making the finals makes him second best. But Li Tu is #1. He charges forward to prove it. He does not waste a second, jumping straight into his best metal attribute move. Watching students think this is crazy. The match will be over in seconds because he is breaking out the Thunder Fist immediately. Suhong gets ready. He rushes forward too eager to see the absolute limits of his physical body in this clash. Nobody can believe it. Charging right into a 5 Thunderclap Thunder Fist is basically a death wish. Both fighters trade non-stop blows. Li Tu is baffled. The main character used 5 rapid-fire punches to completely neutralize the thunderclaps of his fist. They keep trading hits without stopping. He starts thinking Suhong is a total monster. Every single punch feels even heavier than the last one. Everyone is shocked. Suhong hasn't even used a martial technique yet, but he is already tied with Li Tu's 5 Thunderclap Fist. Chen Tian thinks the boy might have a special physique. Otherwise his strength wouldn't be this insane. The director is thrilled that his school finally produced a genius with such a rare physical gift. However, the instructor points out that since Li Tu already condensed his attribute, the main character doesn't really have the upper hand. Both fighters back off after trading hits. Li Tu charges his power to the max to unleash his attribute. He moves in, claiming the fight is already over. Suhong realizes he wanted to test his physical limits against this guy, but it looks like that isn't happening. He decides to get serious now to show some proper respect. He lunges forward with thunder energy. Li Tu can't believe his opponent can also manifest attributes. The director and the instructor are just as shocked. They are speechless seeing a student master the thunder guidance technique. Combined with his special physique, he is now one of the most frightening talents around. Their heavy blows finally collide. Li Tu realizes he is at a major disadvantage because thunder is way stronger than metal. Suhong tells him he has already seen his trump card. Because of that, he gets ready to show off a trump card of his own. He lands a massive 9 Thunder Strikes Fist combo. Li Tu can't believe this is happening, but there is nothing left for him now except total defeat. The crowd sits in silence for a moment, then they erupt in cheers. Witnessing the 9 Thunder Strikes Fist in person is absolutely unbelievable for everyone there. Chen Tian admits he never imagined the main character was the amazing genius who mastered the 9 strikes. The director adds that he is not just a genius, but a colossal dragon. The instructor thinks this is amazing. When this monster hits the elite training camp, those rich family geniuses are in for a massive wake-up call. A golden carp doesn't stay in a lake. When it meets the wind and clouds, it transforms into a powerful dragon. The director says Suhong will be a dragon rising from the abyss at the elite training camp. Both Magic City and the Imperial Capital are going to see this monster shine. Late that afternoon, after everything was over, the main character finally heads back home. His uncle asks how the exam went and he simply tells him he took first place. Moram is thrilled to hear that news. Now his bar can participate in that special training he mentioned before. Just then, there is a loud knock at the door. A woman is outside shouting, asking if Suhong lives there. He opens the door and asks who she is. The woman says she is the mother of the 9 from his school. She knows the top 3 students go to the elite training camp, but since her son took 4th place, she wants to negotiate his spot. She offers him 30,000 coins if he is willing to just give up his spot. All 3 of them are stunned by such nonsense. The woman snaps. Furious, she yells that this camp builds geniuses for the front lines, a place where people actually die. It is not just some game, it is preparation for the future. She says rich kids spam high-level pills and top-tier skills there. With his empty pockets, he will quit early. Honestly, she claims she is just looking out for his own well-being. His aunt looks worried. Is it really that dangerous? She asks. Moron tells her to relax. Then he asks if the kid can truly stay safe. Without missing a beat, he says yes. The woman scoffs why trust a kid as word. Moore snaps back that he trusts him because it is the boy's choice. He will bank on the promise any day over the word of some random stranger who just showed up. With that, he slams the door right in her face. Fuming, she tells them they will be kicked out of camp fast. Inside, Suhong notes he was not trying to build your career. His uncle brushes it off. He knows his nephew studied hard and knows this camp better than anyone. With that kind of grit, he's sure the kid can handle whatever comes. Shinui chuckles. Do not get too hyped, she says. We just want him back safe. The MC promises he will stay out of trouble. Later that night on the roof, he realizes he cannot let his family worry anymore. He has to meet their high expectations no matter what. Checking his system, he sees 285 martial points from those 10 exam fights. Still not enough. He does not know what secret trump cards the elite twins at camp are hiding. To survive, he prioritizes his physical strength, pumping points into his mortal body until it hits 64%. He wonders what happens at 100%. Will he unlock some kind of legendary special physical hidden power? He also notices his guidance techniques hit level 2. Strange, since he only practiced for a few days, he is not even sure when it happened. He starts wondering if there are hidden requirements he met by accident to trigger that level up so fast. Because of that, he decides to push for another level the very next morning at dawn. It works, his guidance techniques already jumped up to level 3. Plus, his blood energy went up by 3 points. What a win. Heading outside, he says his goodbyes to his aunt and uncle. They try to fire him up, telling him to bring home another first-place trophy. He waves goodbye and starts his journey. Shinwei laughs, noticing her husband is shaking with nerves despite trying to look cool. He admits he cannot help it, he just does not want the kid to worry about them. Suhong walks off. He glances to the side. Suddenly, the association president revs her car right up to him. Get in, she commands. They hit the road, and the MC cannot help but feel curious. What does the president want with me? Lingxian explains she has some warnings about the training camp. As the association head, she has been snooping through the files of the other participants who will be there. Apparently, some of these warriors are total monsters. We are talking level 1 fighters at the high stage, already knocking on the door of level 2. Not to mention, their secret techniques are at least rank B. He is shocked. A level 2 warrior needs 200 energy points, and some kids are already nearly there. Still, those rank B skills do not scare him. Thanks to his system's pace, he can master any high-level technique in a flash, even the rare ones. She tells him he is the biggest talent she has ever seen, period. He might lack the fancy resources the rich kids have, but she is certain he will bounce back from many setbacks and eventually leave them all in the dust. He thanks her for the vote of confidence. She is surprised by his vibe. Even though his energy and skills are technically lower, he is totally chill. Looks like she does not need to worry about his mental game. Later, in the school van, they pass through the Tainan mountain range. The two boys freak out when they see the location. It is a literal breeding ground for vicious monsters. The director tells them to relax since the Grandmaster is on guard duty. Basically, nobody is going to die today probably. The MC looks at the massive peaks. They stretch across multiple cities like Xinjiang and Yingchang. The spiritual energy here is thick and the place is growing with dangerous beasts. There are even beast kings here on par with a level 7 Grandmaster. The local monsters are brutal. Even a level 1 beast here is way meaner than anything in the city. Most ordinary level 2 warriors would not even think about stepping foot in this place without some serious backup. They drive deeper into forest. Monsters are popping up left and right now. They feel eyes on them. Will these things just lunge out and attack without any warning? Suhong realizes the camp competition will be just as bloodthirsty as the beasts killing each other. Honestly, he is kind of vibing with the whole thing. A little while later, they reach the camp. Leto says he is dying to see how strong these people really are. The other warriors just glare at them. It leaves them feeling shaken. But the MC does not let his confidence slip for even a second. He tells them to keep moving. An instructor tells the group to sit tight until everyone arrives so the mission test can finally start. Suddenly, someone yells that a specific group has finally showed up. They look back and see a fleet of cars pulling into the site. People start stepping out now. Everyone's whispering about Xiaoyan. She's so stunning, it's insane. Then there's Xinghai from the Lin family. Word is he's already a level 2 warrior. People are seriously jealous of the kind of talent and looks. Finally, there's Tiantu, the city lord's son. They call him a barbarian god with 95% fire affinity and a special physique. He's absolutely terrifying. They push right through the middle of the crowd until the main characters pass them. It's interesting. These are the 3 elite geniuses the president mentioned. He's hyped to see if they're legend or just hype. Time to find out their true power. The instructor yells that everyone is here. It's time to lay down the law and announce the rules for this admission test. The training camp sits deep in the Tainan Mountains, 30 kilometers away from where we're standing right now. They've stuffed medallions inside some ferocious beasts. You've got to hand one down and grab that medallion if you want to enter the camp. You've got 8 hours to cover 30 kilometers. Once you're in the mountains, there's no telling what high-level beasts you'll run into. In the worst-case scenario, you might not make it out alive. Suhong thinks 8 hours is a joke. It's way too easy. He's planning to use that extra time to slay as many beasts as possible and rack up some serious martial points. A warrior asks what happens if they hit a beast that's way out of their league. The instructor basically says if you're unlucky, you're out. But don't worry, there's a rescue team to save your skin. Everyone starts complaining that it's unfair. They're worried the strong guys will get unlucky and get cut, while the weak ones just coast through on pure luck. It feels totally random. The instructor shuts them down. Real life isn't a game. He tells them about a guy who trained for 10 years, finally hit the battlefield, and then got flattened by a single punch from some expert just passing by. That's just how the world works. He asks if they'll cry in fear then. 2. If you don't want to die, be smart. Avoid risks. Play it safe or just gang up on people. You can crush the weak or use numbers to your advantage. Just survive. One warrior agrees, saying anyone scared of death should just go home and stop wasting time. The other guy loses it, telling him to say that again to his face. The instructor steps in. No fighting in the camp, but once you're in the mountains, anything goes. Steal a medallion. Beat someone up because you hit their face. There are 0 rules out there. No punishments. No mercy. Everyone can do whatever they want once they leave the camp gate. Warriors are already glaring at each other and the vibe is getting hostile. The main character realizes this camp is brutal. They're literally encouraging theft. With rules like that, he figures more than half of these people are going to get eliminated fast. Then it hits him. If he ends up fighting everyone who crosses his path, that just means more martial points for him. This might actually be fun. The instructor yells to cut the chatter because the test is starting right now. He orders everyone out of the camp immediately and they all start sprinting toward the gate and head into the forest. Those 2 warriors who were trash-talking earlier are still at it while they run, until they both ready their fists and start trading frantic blows. Without stopping for even a second, the MC watches from a tree branch. He wanted to see what these famous twins could actually do. But honestly, it's nothing special. Defeating them wouldn't even give him many points. He decides to quit wasting time and head deeper into the woods to hunt some high-level beasts instead. The 2 fighters keep eating each other, throwing insults like poor bastard and beggar back and forth. And this fight catches Suhong's eye. He gets annoyed. There's no way he's letting these easy martial points just walk away for free. He jumps right in, interrupting their little duel, and tells them to come play with him for a bit. The warriors ask if he's joking. Another poor bastard showing up to annoy them. They want to know what level he is to even think about interfering. The MC just laughs and says they got it wrong. He didn't mean for them to stop him, and both of them should team up and fight him together. Immediately, one of them charges straight forward, but the main character lands a brutal knee strike. The knee sends the guy flying like a rocket across the entire area. The bar can't believe a warrior of his rank got dropped in one hit. He has no idea what kind of high-speed technique just hit him. While he's still processing that, the MC attacks again, and lands a massive blow that nearly takes the guy's head clean off. After dropping this guy, he tells the fallen warriors never to underestimate an ordinary cultivator or they'll regret it. Meanwhile, back at the control center, the instructors are stunned. They're asking where this guy even came from. He just crushed a high-level duo and wiped them both out. They're ready to mark down to eliminations right now. Manhwa stops them, saying not yet. Since the boys didn't call for rescue, the test continues for them. A bit later, the two wake up and look totally startled. Legion is absolutely fuming. He's never been humiliated like this in his entire life. Marcus feels the same way. If he hadn't underestimated that guy, he knows he never would have lost. They stare each other down. The boy apologizes for the trash talk from earlier, admitting it wasn't true. Legion says it's fine, and then they start helping each other walk. Now, they're both focused on one thing, getting their revenge together. Meanwhile, Suhong pushes deeper into the forest. Suddenly, something catches his eye. Right in front of him, another pack of giant balls appears. These initial state monsters part him and immediately charge out to attack. But that is exactly what he wanted. Using his 9 thunderclap fist, he tears through them one by one until every last one is dead. Suhong is getting annoyed. Beating warriors used to give dozens of martial points. But now that he is stronger, the rewards feel like pocket change. He knows he needs those medallions, so he starts searching the carcasses. The last 10 level 1 beasts had nothing, and he's hoping for better luck here. As expected, there is no sign of any loot. It is clear now he will only find medallions by taking down much stronger monsters. 30 minutes later, he's back on the move. He has covered 3 to 5 kilometers now, killing dozens of low-level beasts every hour. He still can't figure out why not a single one has a medallion. Just as that thought crosses his mind, a new monster appears. He realizes it is a black tiger of the Dark Knight, a final stage level 1 monster. He doesn't hesitate, striking with his finger that breaks the void technique. The tiger is severely injured and collapses, completely powerless. Without wasting a second, Suhong raises his spear and drives it into the beast. He scores 35 martial points at his current strength. Taking down a final stage level 1 beast is child's play. As he loots the body, he prays there is at least 1 medallion inside. He finally finds one. He figured high-level monsters would carry them, but it still took 3 long hours just to track this medallion down. Initial state monsters are everywhere, but finding the tiger was a grind. It seems the deeper he goes into the mountains, the higher the levels get, even if there are fewer monsters to fight. Even though those black tigers pay out more martial points, finding only one every half hour is a drag. If he sticks to the outskirts and hunts low-level beasts, he will gain more points in the same amount of time. So instead of focusing on quality, he decides to prioritize quantity instead. Since there are still 5 hours left before the test ends, he decides he will gather enough martial points to fully complete his mortal body progress. He begins a total massacre of the monsters. He leaves nothing alive in his wake. Every now and then, a stronger beast shows up, but he just dodges them calmly. As he raises his fist, he realizes he has killed dozens of level 1 beasts and finally found a middle stage opponent. With one simple punch, he sends the bear flying like a cannonball straight into a tree. Even as it screams in pain, it realizes he is not joking. He finishes it with a precise blow so powerful it shatters the tree. He notes his mortal body is at 60% now, meaning he can kill middle stage beasts with raw strength alone. He has 254 points and only needs 100 more to finish his body tempering. Knowing he only has 3 hours left, he decides to hurry up and gather those points. Suddenly, a massive roar echoes through the woods. He is startled and unsure what made that sound until a giant bird appears in the sky. He wonders if it is the legendary king of beasts, the Golden Pen. The monster flaps its wings, creating a colossal windstorm that shocks him. A king's power is truly overwhelming as it snaps through his like twigs. Suhong tries to shield himself, wondering just what kind of ferocious beast he is facing. He admits he has been a bit arrogant about his strength lately, but facing this top-tier monster makes him feel like a total ant. Just then, something catches his attention. He spots someone flying right toward the massive monster. This is level 7 Grandmaster Tianli. He tells the King of Beasts he borrowed this territory and asks what the bird is doing there. The Golden Pen replies that he never agreed to lend his land to anyone. The Grandmaster makes it clear he will just beat the bird until it listens. He lands a direct punch that makes the pen scream from the sheer impact. He tells it to shut up and starts unleashing a massive combo across the monster's entire body. Then, he tells the King of Birds once more to get lost since he is using this territory now. The monster flies away in a fury, but warns that it will have its revenge someday. Tianli takes a deep breath. He shouts to everyone in the forest that he is the level 7 Grandmaster in charge of the camp. He tells them not to panic because the test is still on. Suhong is stunned, so that is the power of a level 7 warrior. But he knows that sooner or later he will have to reach that level 2. Tianli returns to camp and tells the supervisors he only borrowed the territory from the Golden Pen. He thought it would be easier if the bird just accepted it, but he had to beat it up in the end. Baimu, a level 5 warrior, says he expected nothing less from a Grandmaster. He is as strong as the rumors. Lin, another level 5, agrees. Since the King of Beasts, famous for having an indestructible body, was shown no mercy at all. Tianli tells them to stop the flattery and orders them to follow him to the monitoring room. He wants to see who actually managed to withstand the king's pressure. Inside, the assistants show the recordings, proving most students were paralyzed by the bird. The old man spots a genius. He killed a group of final stage black tigers and resisted the pangs. Pressure with this, he has to know his name. His assistant says this is Tianqi. He is at level 1 final stage with 340 energy and 95% fire. Affinity. He has the special barbarian gabard and superhuman strength. He is the city lord's son, born after the guy had over 100 children to find a winner. The Grandmaster then asks about another boy who dodged the King of Beasts using some slick movement technique. Baimu explains that this kid is Xing. He is at level 1 final stage with 325 energy and 96% wind. Affinity from the Xingqiang family. Finally, he notices a girl with massive mental power who canceled up Pen's pressure. Her name is Xiaoyan, with 290 energy and 95% wood affinity. The old man thinks this year's geniuses are interesting since 3 of them handled the monster king's pressure so easily. He wonders if there is any other talent, and she says there are a few more. After mentioning the 10 students she has in mind, she says they all have at least mid-stage strength and still conscious under the pressure. The old man notes they are all from rich families and asks about the first school kids. She says they are just level 1 first stage and nothing special. He tells her to forget them since he does not want to waste time on a school with a bad reputation. Right then, Ling shouts that something is wrong with another student. She points at the hero, seeing he just passed the Beast King's pressure and still has plenty of energy to keep hunting. Baimu reads about Suhong and looks completely shocked, calling him the monster from the first school. Her partner grabs the report and tells her not to scare the Grandmaster with all this monster talk. But he also gets totally shocked when reading about the main character. The old man decides to look himself. He does not get why 2 level 5 warriors are so freaked out by level 1 when they have seen all kinds of monsters. However, he is even more stunned and wonders if the boy is actually human. This is because the report says he has 100% affinity with all attributes plus a special physique. He wonders if another monster like this even exists. The old man gets super excited because it makes no sense for such a genius to appear in a small city. This kid is a once-in-a-millennium talent. He realizes that he has finally found a treasure. But he stops to think since the hero is only level 1 with 123 energy. Baimu explains that the boy is practicing 7 techniques at once, so his energy barely rises. He gets furious because that explains why his blood energy is not rising. Not even a god could pull that off. He does not get what the association president is doing since she clearly did not explain things to the bar correctly. Just then, An instructor reports that some of the students have returned to the camp. When he goes outside, he sees that the three geniuses all arrive together. 6 hours after the test starts, more exhausted students arrive. 7.5 hours in, everyone is getting restless and wants to end the test early. They are sure no one else is coming after all this time. The Grandmaster wonders where the monster kid is. He has not shown up yet, and the old man really does not want to lose such a precious treasure. He finally feels relieved when he spots him. Suhong is totally wiped out. He thinks he made it, but he was so focused on puns he almost forgot the time. He walks into camp and the warriors cannot believe how dirty he is. They can only imagine how many beasts he killed to look like that. The two guys get excited for revenge, but Marcus tells them to chill. Once they hit the training field, they will have plenty of ways to teach him a lesson. The three geniuses notice the main character finished last and figure he must be some kind of interesting specialist. The instructor announces that the 8-hour limit is over and anyone not here is eliminated. Next, he's going to show them the camp facilities and the rules. He tells them the camp has several important spots, including the gravity training room and the movement training room, the ferocious beast laboratories. Then there is the martial techniques pavilion. There, they can trade for techniques, movement skills, and weapons. The highest level reaches rank A. The hero hears this and soon realizes that his decision to join the camp was totally worth it. Linus warns them that if they want to use any facilities, they will need enough contribution points. There is only one way to get them, and that is through the training subjects. Basically, if you do great, you get extra rewards. Since it is getting late, he says anyone who wants to train can go, but the injured students have to head to the dorms. They cannot have anyone dying for no reason. The hero gets to his room and is glad it is a single. When he starts leveling up later, he will not have to worry about any disturbances. He opens his system because the big moment is finally here. He has 354 martial points to complete his mortal body. He starts spending his points until the evolution of his mortal body finally hits 100%. His body prepares for the upgrade as power starts to surge through every inch of his being. Eventually the massive pressure fades away and things calm down. He finds it incredible that a simple explosion of physical power could be so strong. The system tells him he just unlocked the Supreme Body, which has the greatest physical strength in the entire world. He admits he has never even heard of it. He also sees his spiritual grid is at 0%, meaning the Supreme Body can still level up, though it will probably be a massive challenge. He cannot hold back his excitement because he needs to test exactly how strong this new Supreme Body really is. He grabs his spear to go test it out, but he is shocked when he sees the weapon is rank CLI, and just holding it almost snapped the metal. He starts to worry because these things are expensive and he spent a fortune. Then he remembers he actually found this spear in the forest anyway. From now on, he's going to grind for contribution points as fast as possible so he can trade them for a rank spear. He puts on his jacket, figuring he will earn contribution points just by wearing a weighted vest. He wonders exactly how many hundreds of kilos he can actually handle. He goes to the warehouse and people are blown away because the Ancho handled 3,000 kilos. Like it was nothing even jumping around with this. Xiaoyan remarks that Yongtuo's strength is definitely on the level of a monster. The supervisors are watching from the control room. They say they expected nothing less from a genius who can carry 3,000 kilos so easily. Bime asks when they are going to talk to the boy about practicing 7 techniques at once. The old man says they cannot be too blunt since geniuses are prideful and it would just backfire. They have to use other methods to make him quit on his own. Then he asks if the warriors for the night attack are ready. His assistant says it will take a minute since matching the right strength to each student is tricky. He is excited because the kids just finished their test and will have their guard down. When the surprise attack hits, they will fall into total despair. The old man agrees and orders them to send a level 1 warrior at the final stage after the main character. He wants the bar crushed and defeated before he explains the downsides of using 7 techniques at the same time. His assistants are floored. A level 1 warrior's blood energy usually hits 400 points. With power over 5,000, Suhong is only at 100. They're worried this challenge will totally crush the kid's spirit and end his career. He just scoffs. He's simply fixing a mistake. If his willpower is really that fragile, then he's nothing more than a piece of trash anyway. Meanwhile, a crowd starts buzzing outside. The genius Tianchuo is heading to the gravity room. Everyone rushes over, desperate to see him in action. Suhong shows up for his weight test, but the room is completely deserted. He grabs a smart bracelet, the kind that tracks your opponent's car. Then he heads toward the mates. He spots a 10-ton weight made of super heavy alloy. He can't even imagine who could move that thing. He tries lifting it just to see, but it's way too much. Even if he could wear it, his speed would tank and he'd collapse in minutes. He decides to grab the 5-tonner. He tests it out by jumping around everywhere. After a quick trial, he realizes this is the perfect weight for him to move naturally. He wonders what the super geniuses use. Since they're at level 1's final stage, they might actually be a good bit stronger than him right now. Regardless, he gets dressed again. He wants to watch them train and hopefully pick up some new tricks. Everyone's gathered and looking totally shocked. Tianchuo just entered the gravity room wearing a 310 vest. He even doubled the gravity, which is insane. He is basically enduring 6 tons of pure pressure in there. That's when Suhong realizes Tianchuo's weight is only 3 tons. He definitely had the wrong idea about the guy. He speaks to students from school and asks why they are in training. They admit the others are just too strong and they're falling way behind. If they even try going in there, they just end up embarrassing themselves in front of everyone. The MC tells them not to say that. He heads toward the room. His friends ask if he is actually going to risk looking stupid. The other warriors start pointing and laughing. They think he's totally clueless. He isn't even wearing a weighted suit. Literally is trying to beat your duo by cranking up the gravity. It is a joke to them. Suhong goes in anyway. He knows gravity rooms cost a little of fortune, usually only for the elite. He can't afford to let a training opportunity like this slip through his fingers. Inside, he considers the math. He is wearing 5,000 kilos. If he doubles the gravity, it is like hauling 10 tons. He'd probably only last a few minutes before his body gave out. So, he sets it to 1.5. That way, he can push himself for much longer. Immediately, his body starts feeling incredibly heavy. People on the outside mark him through the big screen. They see the 1.5 setting in no vest, calling him a total weakling. Meanwhile, Suhong starts meditating. This expensive room is no joke. The guidance techniques are way harder now, but his cultivation speed is absolutely skyrocketing. 2 hours passed and he is still meditating. He's completely wiped out. He checks his stats. Except for Thunder and Flame, all his techniques leveled up. His blood energy even jumped from 126 to 130. He shuts down the machine. If the gravity room is this good, the movement and beast rooms must be just as insane. He can't wait to check them out. He walks out feeling totally drained. Some warriors see him and laugh. This is the last place guy finally showed his face. Since he is not wearing a suit, sweating at 1.5 gravity just looks pathetic to them. But then, he pulls his shirt off because his weighted vest has 0 ventilation and he's roasting. The 2 boys are suddenly frozen in shock. They realize Suhong was actually wearing a 5,000 kilo vest inside the gravity room the entire time. They think their eyes are playing tricks on them. They want to ask about the weight. His friend guesses it as probably only 500 kilos, not 5,000. Since he finished in last place, still, 500 would be pure torture, so it proves the MC isn't a weakling. Either way, they agree he still doesn't compare to Tianduo at all. Right then, everyone starts screaming. Tianduo is leaving his room after enduring 6 tons of pressure for 2 straight hours. People think it as madness. His physical resistance is easily #1 in the whole camp. Most of these guys would barely be able to handle 500 kilos themselves. The genius slams his weights onto the ground. The impact is so heavy it leaves everyone in the camp completely stunned by the sheer weight. Tiandu feels relieved now that the weight is off. His partner admits he can't match that strength and suggests heading to the movement room instead. Tiandu tells him to stop playing around. The guy uses rank movement techniques and has a wind attribute, so competing will be completely stupid. Suhong hears about this rank technique. It sounds pretty interesting, even with his supreme body. He is definitely curious about a movement technique of that level. Everyone starts heading over to check it out. They're blown away by Xinghei. He is already at level 10, while most of them can barely reach level 3. The white-haired genius is moving so fast their eyes can barely keep up. He has even got enough energy to show off, with flower petals appearing out of nowhere. Nobody has any idea how he is even doing that. Suhong immediately starts mimicking ascending Hong's footsteps. He analyzes every single move. Then he starts walking toward the machine. Everyone's eyes are on him. The protagonist weaves through lasers, leaving the crowd in shock. They cannot wrap their heads around how he copied Xingha's movements just by looking once. Everyone is losing because mimicking Renga technique is supposed to be impossible. Meanwhile, inside his mental training system, Suhong is grinding that same move on loop, hundreds of times, steadily leveling up his skill proficiency. He finally unlocks the beginner level ascending Hong steps. It is a massive win since he knows a rank ability. Still, he finds Xingha's style super extreme and low-key cringe. He has never seen that technique done normally, so he is stuck copying every single flashy movement exactly as he saw it. Since he has mastered the move, he is skipping the movement room. He is heading straight to the ferocious beast room to grind martial points and pump his blood energy. It is time for some real combat and to finally see his power levels skyrocket. He is confused why everyone is staring. The crowd is buzzing, seeing his pose was super flashy and that he actually mastered Xingha's technique. He did not realize his training inside the system was creating such a massive scene in the real world. He can't believe he was actually doing those wild movements in real life while he was grinding. Inside the system, he bolts out of there like a cannonball because everyone is crowding him, begging to see those moves again. That is when he notices someone is following his every move. The duo hero finally caught up to him for some payback. They see him heading toward the ferocious beast room and plan to jump him the second he walks out. Meanwhile, inside the room, a crowd of warriors is gathering to watch the big showdown between the elite trainees. Tiantu asks Xiaoyan if she is really trying to compete over to kill more beasts. She says she just wants to settle who is truly number one in this training camp. He tells her not to think psychic powers can beat the strength of the wild god. She just fires back that he is the one underestimating people. The MC is curious to see a spiritual master fight in person. He has never seen one in action, so he decides to watch first. He can always kill beasts for points later, but seeing a psychic master's combat style is a rare chance. Seeing her fly on screen shocks Suhong. Airwalking is used only for grid masters, so seeing her do it reveals her specialty. He finally understands why she is considered a total powerhouse in this training camp. She gathers energy in her palm. She fires a barrage of lasers that wipe out every supreme beast. It is incredible. She took out 3 level 1 black tigers at their peak stage in seconds. The MC is impressed but also really curious about those weird rays of light she is shooting. Suddenly, a much bigger tiger launches a sneak attack from behind. She just freezes it in midair. Suhong realizes that spiritual energy can literally grab and toss enemies around with pure force. She uses her laser once more to finish the beast off. Only then does he realize those light beams are actually flying daggers. The MC is buzzing with excitement after seeing such crazy abilities. It is no wonder spiritual masters are so legendary. They are on a whole different level and can easily overpower even the most seasoned ordinary warriors. Suddenly, the crowd starts screaming about a massive sword appearing on screen. Xiaoyan just materialized a giant blade right in front of the python. With one swift strike, she slices the monster in half like it is warm butter. The MC is stunned. He was sure the girl was not carrying a weapon, and that thing looks like it weighs several tons. How is she doing that? Xinghai steps up and explains that this is an exclusive rank martial ability for spiritual masters. It is a total game changer for psychics. The crowd is losing because they have never heard of psychic exclusive skills. To make it crazier, it is another rank technique. Everyone quickly figures that Yantu must have a skill that is just as powerful up his sleeve. He confirms the guy definitely has one too. The MC is hyped. Seeing all 3 geniuses use Renge techniques proves he made the right call. Joining this camp, this is exactly where he needs to be to reach that elite level. Tiantuo starts clearing beasts too, but everyone notices he is just using basic punches. He is not even using his special skills yet. Suhong sees that the guy is not ready to show his real power yet, so he will just learn it later. Right now he is focused on becoming a spiritual master himself. His spirit is only at 26 and he needs 100 to level up. He is more motivated than ever to grind for those 73 points and is ready to kill every monster in his way. The two police see the MC entering the monster-infested room. They follow him since everyone is distracted by the on-tool screen. This is their perfect chance to finally corner the MC and jump him. But they freeze, because Suhong is doing something so insane they cannot even imagine it is real. The boys ask if he has a death wish. He is challenging a dozen beasts at once, and they are all at the peak of level 1. This is complete insanity and a total suicide mission for him. They think about calling an instructor to save him since he will be dead in seconds. They are actually annoyed they won't get their revenge. Suhong just tells them to bring it. Then the monsters all charge at once. He dodges the first strike. He fires his laser without hesitation, deleting 2 monsters in a single shot. Then he starts tearing through the rest. The two boys are totally blown away. They know an initial stage warrior shouldn't pull that off, and that technique looks crazy familiar to them. Right then they realize it's the legendary Shanghai Cloud steps. He thinks it's totally impossible. A student from the first school shouldn't have access to such high-rank movement. Did he really learn that just by watching some genius do it? His friend says they should just drop the revenge plan since they don't stand a chance. But Li Zhan isn't having it. He doesn't care about family status. He just can't swallow this kind of humiliation. But the fight doesn't last long once the other boys says to look ahead. And when they look, they are completely shocked. The kid somehow took down 11 final state beasts in no time at all. Suhong sees he's earned 81 points. Since beasts average 7 points each, it's clear that as he levels up, grinding for points gets way tougher. He glances to the side. More monsters are closing in. He forces himself up since there's zero time to rest. Right then, the monsters attack. But he just acts off its flaming fist and starts punching through them all. Even more monsters show up. He's getting hyped now, craving those martial points. Because of that, he keeps pushing, slaying more beasts to stack points while the two boys watch the whole thing. Li Zhan finally admits that hate is pointless, so he's dropping the revenge idea. They head elsewhere, where everyone's talking about how to duel and shouting crush 8 or 9 final state monsters. Suddenly, another guy shows up asking if they got their revenge. The two boys are terrified and just say yes. Inside they're shaking with fear. If they hadn't played it smart, they'd be lying there like dead ducks. They finally realize this trading field is insane, packed with nothing but ridiculous monsters. Suddenly, the two geniuses walk out of the room. Tianduo says he hit 280 points, while Xiaoyan got 270. Everyone's for because each final state monster is worth about 5 contribution points. Tianduo's annoyed he only got 100 points from the weighted vest. His friend feels the same since she only bagged 50 extra points herself. Everyone's still reeling from how incredible these geniuses are. They know there's only one thing left, fighting for 4th place. Meanwhile, the two boys keep watching from a distance. They think everyone's a fool because there's a way scarier monster in that field who totally outclasses those 3 geniuses. 1 hour later, the main character finishes his massacre. He sighs with relief. Hunting beasts for over an hour has left him exhausted, and what's worse, he's still nowhere near the 735 martial points he needs. At least he snagged 700 contribution points. He wonders what he can get at the martial arts pavilion, especially since those weighted training points added another 300. With that goal in mind, he heads to the martial techniques pavilion. He checks through the books, checking out the cost of every pill and all the martial techniques available. Renegade techniques are super pricey. Even the cheapest one is 2,000 pounds. Though the pill prices seem fair enough, the clerk asks if he's buying anything, but she quickly assumes an entry-level fighter like him can't afford a single thing. He asks about the spiritual concentration pills and she explains exactly how they work. He notices that level 4 is the maximum rank, costing 500 contribution points. With that said, he asks for the max level pill, which leaves her totally stunned. She tries to explain it's 500 points, but he just says it isn't a problem. She can't believe a warrior in this camp has 700 contribution points this early. Still annoyed, she hands over the pill. He thanks her and asks if they have an allies pill with dual lighting in the fire attributes. The girl isn't even surprised anymore. She just says yes and thanks him for his business. After heading back to the dorm, he mounts his weapons on the wall and checks his stats. His growth in just one day was bigger than a whole week in the past. Now his spirit points are almost at 100. He hopes this pill gives him the 25 points he's missing. Without waiting, he swallows it, determined to become a mental master. The pill enters his system. Right then, the effects finally start kicking in. He feels his fried nerves finally relax. It is a total relief. His head clears up instantly. He can sense everything around him. He snaps his eyes open. He realized he just banked 24 spirit points. Combined with his 50.5, he's now at 99.5%. He regrets not hunting more ferocious beasts. There is not much else to do, so he rests up to grind more points tomorrow. Later on, the training grounds, a group of warriors has gathered. One guy asks Jinfang if he quit the martial arts university just to serve a bunch of spoiled geniuses. He tells the guy to shut up, saying that if he were still in high school, no one here would be worthy training partners. The big guy reveals he is training Tiantuo, who has 340 blood points. The others brag about their 300-point students. Jinfang can't believe he's stuck with a rookie at the initial stage with only 123 blood points. The warriors are shocked since Jinfang is the strongest one there. They wonder if the Grandmaster totally messed up the assignments. Just then, Tianli walks in and confirms there was absolutely no mistake. The guy with the mohawk apologizes, calling the main character total trash. The Grandmaster warns them not to underestimate him, since his combat power rivals a high-stage warrior. The trio thinks that is impossible. No initial stage rookie with such low blood points can fight like a pro. The Grandmaster explains that Suhong's fight is partially classified, so it's not all on paper. They will only understand once they fight one-on-one. Jinfang takes a deep breath, unable to believe he has to go intimidate some rookie who only has 123 blood points. Tianli slaps him, saying if he is ordered to fight, he should do it without talking back. He needs to go out and make the main character question his own existence. The mohawk guy is still confused. He asks if the Grandmaster has a grudge and won't take blame if the kid gets crippled. He thinks it will be fun to beat him down for a reward, even if he cripples him. The boy is terrified by his creepy, sinister laughter. Instantly, everyone heads toward their targets. Every high-level warrior starts hunting their assigned student. Total chaos breaks out in camp since nobody knows what is going on. The main character wakes up, thinking a surprise attack is underway. Right then, someone starts bashing on his door. It was Jinfang. He comes charging into the room. He strikes the bed, forcing Suhong to dive away. He recalls hearing that some races had human twins to weaken them, and wonders if that is what is happening here. He quickly grabs his spear. He braces himself since he has no idea how strong his opponent is. Jinfang complains that his target is clearly just an initial stage student. The main character is shocked to see a high-level warrior instead of some shape-shifting monster. Honestly, he thinks this is amazing. If he wins, he will get the final 5 martial points needed to become a mental master. Jinfang can believe that not only did the kid not run away, but he actually chose to counterattack. It is pure madness. He blocks the strike. The warrior realizes the kid's power really is high-stage level. The Grandmaster definitely was not lying to them. The strength is even higher than he imagined. He can't believe a Grade 1 warrior is this powerful. Suhong just thinks his opponent is another high-level warrior, and it's not his first time facing one. He lands his very first hit. Even while blocking, Jinfang really feels the pressure. However, he knows that a battle between warriors is not just about raw physical strength. The main character is actually pleased to witness a fire attribute martial technique for the very first time. The boy prepares himself and leaps with a run-B technique to see how they handle it. The main character readies himself since that attack is way stronger than the fire devastating finger. After he repels the attack, Jinfang gets slammed hard against the wall. Once he recovers, he stands the kid blocked his strike using pure Zender. That terrifying talent explains why the Grandmaster is so obsessed with the boy's potential. Jinfang notes it's a shame his target lacks a Zender attribute spear technique. If he had one, this battle would be way more difficult for everyone. Suhong admits he doesn't know one, so he mixes in the fire attribute to level the playing field. Suddenly, he's glowing with a dual power of thunder and fire. The warrior can't believe his eyes. Fusing two attributes is supposed to be impossible for anyone in this world. He's in denial because every single warrior knows that different attributes are supposed to naturally repel each other. He breaks into a cold sweat. Fusing thunder and fire was always thought to be nothing more than a myth. Our hero wastes no time and charges in. Jinfeng barely has time to react as he lashes out with his blazing flames. But the spear deflects the attack and, even worse, fires back with a massive blast of thunder. The damage to Jinfeng is insane. He can't believe how ridiculous this level of power is. The blast is so strong it blows a hole through the wall and sends him flying. With this win, our lead gains 7 martial points, finally reaching the goal to become a mental master. Just moments earlier by the dorms, the Grandmaster was chatting with his assistant. Assuming Suhong had already been defeated, he even prepared several arguments to convince the boy to give up on practicing so many different orientation techniques. But suddenly, Jinfeng comes flying out of the building and slams into the ground right in front of them. Totally crushed, both of them are stunned by the sight. Bim especially can't wrap his head around how this happened. To make matters worse, 3 more warriors get tossed out and land in a heap before them. It was the trio supposed to be the geniuses, but they were totally useless. The 3 students walked to the hole in the wall and asked the Grandmaster to send tougher fighters. Next time, however, Tianqiu notices there are actually 4 bodies on the ground. The girl wonders if someone actually managed to take on a warrior faster than they did. Shanghai figures it's just some weak fighter who got taken out by a lucky strike. Bim is furious because Jinfeng was actually the strongest of the 4. The Grandmaster tries to make sense of it. He understands the genius trio winning since they're at the final stage. But a rookie at the initial stage beating a grade 2 faster than everyone else. That's insane. He wonders if it's a high-level technique or some elite physique. Right then, Lin appears shouting that something serious has just happened. Tianli cuts him off, saying he doesn't care if a student died since that happens all the time. He says no. It's actually about our protagonist using attribute fusion during his fight with Jinfeng. The distracted Grandmaster says there's nothing to brag about until he stops and takes a deep breath. He's suddenly ecstatic after realizing what he just heard was completely impossible. Lin explains that Suhong really did fuse thunder and fire techniques to take down Jinfeng. He saw it clearly on the security cameras, and if they don't believe him, they can just ask the warrior. Just then, Jinfeng wakes up and confirms every single thing that was said. The Grandmaster is shocked. The greatest human genius spent 10 years on fusion research and failed. Yet a student just did it. He's shaking with excitement now, like a divine star just fell from the heavens. His assistant asks if fusing attributes is really that powerful. The old man confirms it, noting that even the genius researcher once used an incomplete fusion to beat a grade 2 while only being a grade 1. She wonders why this cultivation path isn't encouraged if the power is so insane. Even if it's difficult, shouldn't people still take the chance if it might actually work? He explains that many tried before, but they found that attribute fusion isn't just hard. It has a massive chance of completely ruining the cultivator. But Suhong is an exception. He achieved this in less than a month. To make things even better, he has 7 different attributes. They can't even imagine the power level. If a monster like him truly grows up, he could knock out the emperors of every race with just one single blow. Lin tells him not to get carried away. Fusing to attributes is nearly impossible, so imagining 7 of them is just plain crazy. The old man apologizes for getting so worked up. Suddenly Lin shouts that there's more. The kid also has a special physique that helps him crush Jinfeng. The old man can't believe she waited this long to mention something that important. They find it bizarre how someone with 120 blood energy points could crush someone with 500. It's totally unreal. Tianli says he'll organize a duel for tomorrow. He wants to test Suhong's combat strength and blood energy in every single category. He'll even have him fight Tian. He wants to see what happens when a total monster faces the top genius in the camp. Our hero walks over to the hall in his room. He sits down to check the system and decides to dump all his martial points into spirit immediately. Once the points are assigned, he gets excited because he's finally going to become a mental master. He feels an incredible sensation. It feels like he suddenly sprouted a third arm, weird and totally bizarre. But it works. His spirit points topped 100%. Looking back, he decides it's time for a quick test. His bed lifts right off the ground. The rest of the furniture falls. He can move objects and even walk on thin air now. He wants to learn Xiaoyan's Ranga technique and Jian Tuo's offensive moves next. But the next morning, an announcement rings out: everyone must gather in 1 minute. Every second they're late is going to cost them serious contribution points. Every single student bolts out the door. They all scramble to the meeting spot. Our main character wonders what is about to go down. The instructor stands there, actually impressed no one is late. After the beating they took, he honestly didn't think they'd be able to crawl out of bed. A few guys grumble, claiming they could have won last night if they weren't caught off guard. They didn't even have time to put on their underwear. Annoyed, the instructor asks if an assassin from the thousands of races would really wait for them to get dressed before attacking. Marcus looks totally embarrassed while his friend and the rest of the crowd start teasing him. Suhong realizes a real battle never waits for you to be ready. He gets why people are frustrated. So it was a long, exhausting night. Then announces a fresh chance for everyone. A full combat test that measures their blood energy levels. They will check combat power, spirit, physical strength, speed, and even how well they've mastered their martial techniques. Once it is over, they'll rank everyone. The top 10 students get daily rewards in the form of contribution points. It is pretty much a given that the top 3 spots will go to the genius trio. As for the MC, he's only curious about one thing: what's the prize for first place? Lindsay yells for everyone to quiet down so they can head over to the testing grounds. They arrive at a temporary field equipped with a grid to strength meter to measure their power. The Grandmaster notices how well Suhong blends into the crowd, making sure he doesn't draw any eyes. One guy starts acting all high and mighty, thinking the Grandmaster is actually checking him out. But the MC knows better. He's fully aware that the old man's gaze is locked right on him. Tianli announces a last-minute surprise. The overall winner gets a bonus rank, a martial or movement technique. Everyone is shocked by the generous offer, but they're already groaning since they assume the prize is going straight to TNT anyway. Even the genius finds this interesting. Rank techniques are rare, even the most powerful families only own a few. Xiaoyan is hyped at the thought of picking any technique she wants. Same for Xinghei. He's looking for a skill that pairs perfectly with his Cloud Steps technique. The MC realizes he cannot hold back this time. He needs to snag another rank technique for himself. The Grandmaster likes the look in his eyes. He is eager to see just how strong Yantian can get. He announces the order. Xinghai fights first, followed by Xiaoyan, and then Tianchu goes third. The students are stunned that the top 3 are starting things off. No one else has the guts to volunteer. They don't even want to guess who the 4th person will be. Just then, the old man points to our MC as the 4th. It is exactly what he suspected. The Grandmaster is watching him. His classmates start wondering if he somehow offended the old guy, because this is some seriously bad luck. Others think it's crazy to put the 3 strongest first followed by the weakest. They figure it is probably just a way to motivate the rest of the students. The first test is all about physical strength. The cloud-haired kid mentions that this isn't exactly his strongest area. He throws a punch with everything he has and scores 4,013 points. Everyone's shocked. Breaking 4,000 without even using a technique is pretty incredible. The MC figures if Xinghai has a rank movement technique, his attacks must be decent too. Probably ranked B at least. The boy strikes again, this time using the hidden Cloud Gill Fist. This time he hits 5,642 points. The students are terrified. The score is standard for a grade 2 warrior, and is coming from a guy who claims strength is his weakness. Just by watching, the MC managed to copy the move. He is unimpressed, so the score only went up by 1,600. Xiaoyan gets ready for the test. She scores 3,253 points. Suhong knows it is normal for a mental master to be physically weak since spirit is what counts. She takes a long, deep breath. She triggers her special attack, and just like that, our hero mimics the skill. This training ground is a goldmine for stealing skills. He wonders how many he can grab today. The girl steps up, blasting the machine for 5,942 points. The crowd loses it. That is way higher than Shanghai's score. She practically doubled her power with that one move. Meanwhile, the least is meditating. Inside his mental space, he drills the new move over and over until it sticks. He realizes he can summon anything, not just swords, but furniture or even wild monsters. But there's a catch. The more real the object feels, the more mental energy it drains from him. Right now, mastering this whole skill at once feels like a stretch. He decides to take it slow. TNT is up next, and he needs to study the guy's fighting style. The prodigy gets ready while the fans go wild. Everyone wants to see the barbarian god unleash that insane power. Suhong wonders about the real difference between her sovereign body and whatever powers this barbarian god boy has. Yanchuo steps up, ready to show everyone just how far ahead he really is. He slams a massive punch right into the machine. People are stunned. The machine looked like it was about to snap from the impact. The Grandmaster gives him props. The genius thanks him and gets ready to show off his real martial arts. Our MC is happy he finally gets to see Tiontuo's actual combat style. The prodigy puts energy into his palm, bracing for the big strike. Tianli is shocked. That move is the legendary Infernal Bone Flame Fist. Suhong recognizes it instantly. The technique costs 2,800 points back at the martial pavilion. Tiontuo goes all out, hitting the machine for 7,534 points. The crowd goes ballistic. The score beats even elite Grade 2 warriors. The Grandmaster is impressed once again, and the boy accepts the praise with a nod. Then, the old man calls our hero forward to take the test himself. The students start laughing. They think it is a joke to send a loser up after 3 absolute. Legends just crushed the leaderboard. The old man warns him this first hit has to be pure muscle, no special moves allowed. Our guy just shrugs and says fine. He gets into his stance. He takes a long breath. He moves forward, totally locked in on winning the prize. His punch is so violent it practically rocks the whole room. 6,551. The Grandmaster realizes he completely misjudged the kid. His raw strength is terrifying. The students are floored by the score and start screaming in disbelief. They keep asking if the machine is broken. Everyone knew the MC was the weakest. There is no way he should be outclassing these geniuses in pure power. Xiaoyan is actually impressed, and the cloud-haired girl thinks a level 1 warrior doing this is impossible. Even Tian agrees. He realizes he was being way too cocky. The MC asks if he can move on to the combat move. The old man nods yes. He gets into position. Suddenly, his mastery of the copy skill starts climbing. He realizes the Infernal Bone Flame Fist fits him perfectly, so he keeps leveling it up without a break. Meanwhile, Lin tells the Grandmaster the kid is just a regular guy. He probably does not even know any high-level techniques. The old man agrees. He isn't expecting to see anything impressive or high-end from him. The MC finally hits 100% mastery, officially reaching the beginner stage. People see the energy in his hand and start yelling, "Isn't that your duo's move?" They have zero clue how he learned it. He readies himself, eager to test the power of a genuine Renga technique. He strikes so hard the entire house starts to shake. The students are confused. Is this for real? He just made the whole building tremble. When 9,013 points pops up, they lose it. That is the standard for a high-level Grade 2 fighter. Lindsay is losing his mind. How is Suhong this correct with only 123 blood energy? It makes no sense. The 3 geniuses can't believe it either. 9,000 points is insane for a Grade 2. They are convinced he is hiding his true stats. Maybe he is over 500. But when the MC takes the next test, his blood energy only hits 137. It is totally ridiculous. Nobody should be this powerful with such a low energy score. Suhong walks away from the machine. The Grandmaster calls for quiet. It is time for the real combat test to figure out the duo rankings. He announces a challenge system where everyone picks their own opponents. If nobody dares to challenge the top fighter, he will be the first one to walk away with that Renga technique as his prize. Shinhei doesn't hesitate and calls the old man over, and says he wants to take on Suhong. He figures that even if the guy is invincible, his blood energy is way too low. He plans to just use his movement techniques to dodge until he gasses out. But the old man shuts down the duel. He is confused until the Grandmaster steps in and says all 3 can take on Suhong at once. This makes the geniuses furious. They feel like the old man is totally disrespecting their skills. The old man asks the kid what he thinks, and he just shrugs and says fine. They get ready to fight, promising to shove the cocky attitude right back down his throat. The coach signals the start and the 3 charge in. Shinhei plans to blast him with a gill fist and then dip. Once the kid is distracted, he will flank from the side. With his insane speed, he figures no one can even react. But his 2 buddies suddenly scream for him to watch out, because in the blink of an eye, The kid is right behind him, and without holding back, he aims for the face. But the guy dodges just in time. He thanks his friends, warning them that Suhong's speed is on a whole different level and they need to stay sharp. Suhong feels a weird pressure. He realizes it is mental force, a totally new and very uncomfortable sensation that's messing with his head and body. Since she is the source, he decides the girl is his next target. He bursts forward at high speed, activating a powerful Ringa technique. She cannot believe her eyes. That is the legendary claw stepping technique. The others wonder if he has to attributes instead of just fire. Tianqiu tells the team to stay focused and charges in with his infernal bone flame fist. The kid does not flinch. He gears up to use the exact same move, but Xiaoyan jumps into the fray. She locks his body down with mental control. He starts realizing this class is going to be way more annoying than he thought. Suddenly, Xinghai pops up and attacks him from a different side. Watching the fight, the Grandmaster worries he was too quick to make it a 3-on-1. Dealing with a mental master is a nightmare. Once you're caught, you either need insane brute force or even stronger mental power to break out. Otherwise, you're toast. He's just hoping the kid has enough physical strength to tear himself free from the hold. But then he's shocked to see the kid smiling. The kid starts pumping out massive amounts of force. He actually manages to snap the mental control bond. The backlash makes Xiaoyan cough up blood since he broke her spell with pure strength. He grabs one guy's hand and another's leg. The crowd goes wild as the kid beats the mental hold and blocks two geniuses at once. Then, he spins them both into the air like toys. Holding on tight, he slams them into the dirt, doing massive damage to both guys. The other students cannot believe what they are seeing. Suhong is being absolutely brutal with his follow-up. He knocked them both unconscious with a flurry of heavy blows. He takes a breath, then glances sideways. He looks towards the girl, but she immediately tells him to stay back because she's Renault's right. Then and there, nobody can believe there is actually someone strong enough to wipe out the camp's top 3 geniuses all by himself. The Grandmaster tells everyone to quiet down and asks if anyone else wants a piece of him. Otherwise, Suhong takes first. They all refuse to fight that monster. Only an absolute would try to challenge a guy like him now. With that, the old man declares Suhong the winner. Since 2nd through 10th place are still open, the rest of them have to keep competing to see first the remaining spots on the leaderboard. He tells the kid to follow him to go collect his big reward. He gets hype hearing that, knowing he has just scored another high-level Ranga technique. While they walk, Tianli admits he's been watching him since he first arrived. He asks why the kid hides his power so much, especially when everyone else just wants to show off and act tough. He explains that since he has zero influence, standing out too early would just turn him into a massive target for others. The old man loves that answer. He thinks that is smart and confesses he only set up the duo to make sure the kid got the resources. He says that in this world, the strong just get stronger while resources go only to the geniuses. He tells him not to hide anymore, promising that as Grandmaster, he will protect him from any trouble. Suhong thanks him for everything as they keep moving. They arrive at the martial techniques pavilion, where the old man hands him a list of all the available skills. He tells the kid to look closely, so the MC asks him for a suggestion on which one is best. First, Tian asks which techniques he has already mastered. Suhong lists off the infernal bone flame fist, the claw stabs, the gill fist, and the void devastating finger. The rest are just low-level skills. The old man cannot believe his ears. Most of those abilities belong to the Xinghai family. He asks if Suhong managed to learn them just by watching the other boy perform them. Suhong simply says yes. Once again, the Grandmaster is forced to conclude that he is standing right in front of a total monster. The saleswoman starts to wonder who this kid is. Why is he being personally accompanied through the shop by the Grandmaster? The old man suggests a control technique since Suhong already has offense and movement covered. He recommends the rank of imprison, which condenses spiritual fire energy to trap any enemy. Offensive techniques just need to attach energy to the weapon or body, but control techniques require that energy to actually leave the user. Most second-grade warriors cannot do this, so recommending it to first-grade is usually impossible. But for Suhong, the rules are different. Tianli mentions that he actually knows this technique himself. Because of that, he offers to demonstrate exactly how it works. The MC gives him a quick thanks immediately. The old man activates his fire attribute to create a cage of flames. He explains that while the power of control techniques is lower than attack moves, their utility in battle is enormous. He then fires a flame arrow to show how to strike an enemy already trapped inside the cage. He admits that attacking while holding the flame prison is extremely difficult. He did not master it himself until he became a third-grade warrior. The MC immediately turns down this technique. Since even the old man had difficulties with it, he decides to pick an easier one. The Grandmaster cannot believe he gave up so fast. He figured geniuses were always proud. But a monster like Suhong actually knows how to listen to good advice. That means his future is truly limitless. But the reality is different. Suhong actually copied the flame prison during the demonstration. Since he already learned it without even using his reward, he decided to take the chance and pick a completely different technique. The Grandmaster thinks about what other moves he can suggest and decides to recommend a powerful defensive technique. Suhong notices it is an earth attribute move called the Deep Earth Armor. It condenses earth energy on the surface of the body to create a powerful defensive shield. He is hyped. Pairing this with his incredible physique means his defense will be untouchable. He agrees to take it. The old man takes advantage of the mood and asks what special physique he has. Suhong claims it is the sovereign body. He says this while imagining it is the strongest physique among the 3,000 that exist. He hopes the old man will be so impressed that he gives him many more techniques. However, Tianli says he has never heard of a name like that. The MC just laughs and admits he made it up. The old man finds it strange but figures it is just an unregistered physique. Still, it must be something superior since he withstood a direct punch from Tiantuo, the user of the barbarian god body. He has never seen the strength of a first-grade warrior reach that level before. Suddenly, his communicator starts to ring. He picks up and asks what is happening. Aimu reports that the system shows Suhong was still wearing his heavyweight vest during the entire fight against the trio of geniuses. The old man is in total shock. He asks if Suhong was really wearing the vest during the entire fight against the trio. Suhong says yes, since he would not have earned as many contribution points otherwise. He tries not to have a heart attack from the shock. He is realizing that normal common sense just does not apply to Suhong anymore. He tells the boy to forget about those points. If he continues to succeed in these challenges, he will never be lacking for rewards. The saleswoman says she will help return the weight vest to storage, and the MC gives her a polite thanks. She starts to brag about being a respected second-grade warrior, but she is terrified. The second he drops the weight, it slams hard into the floor. She gasps and asks how many tons it weighs. 5 tons. The old man is speechless. Suhong defeated the 3 strongest students while carrying 5 tons of extra weight the whole time. He calls Suhong a little monster and decides to offer him another Ranga technique. He remembers that Suhong uses a spear and Grandmaster Zhang also uses one. He has a Ranga lightning spear technique whose power is one of the greatest among techniques of that level. He will take Suhong to a duel against another Grandmaster's top student. If he wins, the old man will give him the technique as a reward. The MC thinks this is not right, but the old man does not care. His friend is annoying for mocking others and needs to be paid back. Either way, he tells him to get ready. They are leaving for Yangchang first thing in the morning. Suhong returns to his room and sees it is completely renovated and upgraded. He starts to focus. He obtained many new techniques and needs to cultivate them all to the beginner level before the sun comes up. Meanwhile, the old man calls his old friend and tells him to prepare the lightning spear technique. He is bringing a student over to challenge for his spot. Zhang tells him not to joke around. His star student has the wood spiritual body and has already successfully reached second-grade status. In just 2 days, the boy already managed to make spiritual energy leave his body using a high-level Ranga control technique. The specific student is currently in the middle of a hard training session. He activates his ability and summons the wood prison. The thick vines lash out, but they crumble midway. His master warns him that control techniques take time to master. He tells him he should not get too ahead of himself. He says he gets it and even set a 1-month goal to hit beginner level with this new ability. Still on the call, Zhang asks if he heard. He snaps that the students he trains are definitely not trash. Hearing this makes the old man pretty irritated. The spear master warns his friend is coming with a student. He asks him not to win too fast. Fake a close fight, or it'll be boring. Chanfeng says not to worry, he's got a talent for acting. The next afternoon, the two finally arrive at the Yangchong training field. The MC finds his first time flying under these conditions incredible. They touch down right in the arena. Zhang Ling welcomes them and asks what kind of genius he managed to bring along. He introduces the MC as a spearman at the initial stage of first grade. Suhong greets them, but the spearman asks if this is a joke, treating a low-level stage like a treasure. He figures second grade versus first is an instant knockout. He has no clue how his student will figure a balanced fight. The old man tells them to start the duel fast. He wants to grab dinner early tonight. Everyone heads over to the combat arena at the training field. The students wonder what level the MC is. They really hope he's not just some weakling. Zhang Ling starts by introducing his friend as a renowned grandmaster. Everyone is totally blown away by this. Then, they introduce Suhong, but they emphasize he's just a first-grade warrior at the initial stage. Everyone gets annoyed. Why would a low-level challenger show up? Chanfeng is second grade and could win with one hand tied behind his back. The boy tries to figure out how to make the fight look balanced against someone so incredibly weak. Zhang Ling points out that if his student wins, the old man has to teach him a Renga technique. He tells the MC that the winner earns him the lightning spear technique plus another Renga skill. He says thanks for that. Tianli gets hyped and calls his friend a truly great person. The other guy doesn't get it. There's still a chance the MC wins this. The two of them face off in the arena. The grandmaster tells his student to watch his strength. He replies that it won't be a problem at all. He draws his sword. He starts planning his act. It wouldn't look good if he accidentally put the boy in the hospital with one hit. Next, he asks why Suhong isn't using a spear since he's a spearman. The MC replies that it just isn't necessary yet. That's because he only knows a rank C skill. Using the spear right now would actually put him at a disadvantage. Chanfeng feels totally underestimated. He thinks this attitude is incredibly arrogant. He charges forward without thinking twice. He wants to see where this arrogance leads. He readies his big attack, but Suhong dodges easily. He instantly zips to the other side of the arena. Chanfeng realizes it's a Ranga wind-style technique. He's intrigued. He pushes forward again. Movement techniques won't stop his power. He uses word prison to snap the MC's legs right now. Like the grandmaster said, control techniques are hard to train. The boy is a genius, so he'll have to use raw force to break free soon. However, before he can even try, the magic just dissipates. Suhong can't believe it. The magic used against him was way too weak. Chanfeng says he only needed to hold him back for a split second. Seeing him so close, the MC raises his fist and launches a counterattack. The boy realizes the punch is coming too fast. He'll be hit before he can even strike back. He summons a wooden shield, but the impact is incredibly strong. It sends him flying backward. They can't figure out Suhong's strength. The students start believing in the fight. A grade 1 might actually beat a grade 2 despite the gap. Tianli laughs and asks his friend's opinion. The grandmaster says brute force isn't enough. The MC resets and charges forward again. He delivers a powerful kick, but upon landing, he realizes it was just an afterimage. Chanfeng teleports behind him using his own Rengi's kiss, but Suhong's way faster and dodges easily. The guy yells for Suhong to give up. The gap between their levels is just too massive. Our main character just lifts his hand, and after sparking his fire attribute, he builds a flame kit to trap his rival. The kid's stunned to see an actual control technique. He can wrap his head around an initial stage warrior knowing this, but he's positive the move won't last more than a few seconds. Zhang Ling is losing it. Seeing someone at the initial stage master flame prison is honestly just a joke to him, but he jumps when he sees his friend looking just as shocked. He asks if he was the one who taught our hero that move, but the guy has no idea how to answer. The grandmaster remembers the kid used wind before and can figure out where this fire attribute came from to build the cage. Tianli just tells him to chill out. It's just multiple attributes, so there's no need to be that surprised. Plus, they have no clue how the cage is even still holding together. To make things even worse, Suhong starts charging up a flaming fist. Now the grass-haired kid is really panicking and sweating buckets. As far as he knows, attacking while maintaining a control technique is crazy difficult even for a Greed-free warrior. Suhong lunges right at him. The boy tries to shield himself using his wood technique, but it's totally useless. The head lands perfectly, shattering the wood, the sword, and everything in its path. The punch is so brutal it slams him into the fire cage, immediately torching his clothes. The flames really start to hurt, but his word protection kicks in, healing his body almost instantly. Chanfei warns him not to sleep on the healing power of a Greed-2's wood spirit body. Suhong admits the wood spirit body is pretty insane, that recovery speed is just a total cheat code. But if that's the issue, he decides it's time to just throw a massive combo. As he rains down blows, he realizes he can keep holding back his full power forever. The gray-haired kid yells that is pointless because he'll never win an endurance battle. A Greed-1's stamina will never beat a Greed-2. After tanking the combo, he challenges him, wanting to see what breaks first. The film prisoner his own recovery power. Our hero knows his fire energy is hitting zero. As soon as the cage vanishes, the tables could turn. To prevent that, he makes a move to shut the prison down himself. The bar laughs, asking if he's throwing in the towel already. He gears up for a counterattack, but then something stops him cold. He notices something weird with Suhong's hand. Our hero admits this move eats tons of energy and he didn't really want to use it yet. Chanfei is paralyzed with shock. He's never in his life seen that kind of power released by a Greed-1 warrior. He slams his hands onto the ground instantly. He can't let our main character get close to him. Period. He uses his technique to create a thick wooden barrier. Suhong takes a good look at the obstacle in his way, and after getting ready, he throws a punch so insane that it totally shreds the wall in his target dead on, sending him flying backward, leaving him completely unconscious. The crowd is losing their minds. They can't believe such a strong fighter got dropped by one punch, especially by a Greed-1 warrior at the initial stage. And another jungling asks his friend what kind of monster our hero really is. He's even more shocked, asking if that was an attribute fusion. He can't believe a kid could actually do that. It should be completely impossible for a young Greed-1. The friend replies it's no big deal, not even mentioning Suhong mastered that fusion in just 1 month. Oh, and one more thing he wasn't going to say. The kid has 100% affinity with all 7 attributes. Jungling has no idea how to even process that news. Meanwhile, the Grandmaster just keeps bragging about how amazing his student is. The Spear Master is trying to figure out how anyone is born with 100% affinity in all 7 attributes and still fuses 2 of them in just 1 month. Tianli reminds him not to forget the promise he made. He wants him to hand over that rank lightning spear skill and the Supreme Thunder Palm technique as well. The Grandmaster agrees, saying that's fine since it was already promised. They head to the training room where our hero gets ready to learn these new skills. Jungling can't stop thinking about the absolute monster standing in front of him. He's never seen anyone like this in his entire life. He gets straight to the point, saying he'll teach the lightning spear technique. It's called 9 spears that break the heavens. He starts channeling electricity into his fist. He explains that every 3 moves creates a new form, for a total of 3 forms. Each one is stronger than the last, but they also get way harder to learn as you go. Plus, he'd normally never teach this to anyone below grade 4. But after seeing that talent, he's sure it won't be a problem. He tells him to watch really closely. He triggers Form 1, unleashing a massive electric tsunami. Next, he shifts to Form 2, overturning the seas. A giant wave surges across to the arena's other side. Our hero feels the pressure, trapped in a lightning storm. He's like a tiny boat on the ocean, where just one thundery raindrop could totally wipe him out. Finally, the Grandmaster fires up the 3rd form. It spawns several massive electric vortices. Suhong is terrified watching this. Jungling clearly held back in Form 2 to save the hall, but the leftover energy still created a scary tornado. He knows he is just an ant now, but after this insane display, he is determined to reach this elite combat level one day. The Spear Master tells him to practice solo first. If any questions pop up, he can ask whenever he wants. Suhong gives a sincere thanks, but Jungling brushes it off. No need for that, after all, a bet is a bet. He explains that once Suhong masters Form 1, he will teach him the Palm Thunder. He warns him now that it is a way more powerful technique than the one he just showed off. Our MC is hyped, He never imagined the next move would be even stronger than what he just saw. Now he wants to master everything as fast as humanly possible. The Grandmaster says he is off to talk with Yanli. He will be back later to check on Suhong's progress. Suhong gets even more fired up. He did not think the second move could actually top this one. So now he is really itching to start his training as quickly as possible. That's all everyone. If you liked the video, subscribe and hit that notification bell.